After doubling down on season opening, Daytona wins and winning a second straight season opener in the Sundance Pizza 250 a week ago. Dustin Stallings enters Music City with a major target on his back, and everybody is chasing number 00. But it'll take a moonshot and then some to get it done and beat that Toyota Camry across the line this evening. Welcome to Pitstop TV in the virtual Lebanon, Tennessee. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Devin Mosley and Zachary King, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the BRB Sundance Pro Series in season number 5. Tonight's coverage from Nashville is, of course, brought to you by Sundance Pizza, by BRB Racing League, and by all series partners. This is, of course, race number 2. Brand new season. Just got underway a week ago. We opened things up with a 100-lap race at Daytona International Speedway. The right thing, the right way to get things done in a stock car league like this, Zach. And, of course, we've well documented the change from NASCAR next-gen vehicles over to this ARCA car. But this is the first real test for these cars on a true intermediate speedway.
Yeah, coming here to Nashville Super Speedway is a great facility for these ARCA cars. Watching the practice race last night, these cars looked really, really gripped up. A lot of moves to be able to have made. That top side might be able to start rolling, so that's going to be something very interesting to watch as the race goes on tonight.
We might see a little bit of multi-lane racing, but everybody is going to be clamoring to get down to that yellow line all the way on the inside of the racetrack and hook the inside, maybe even hook the apron just a tiny little bit to help turn the car around these corners. You see the name Dustin Stallings top of the board there in practice, but we have got an MX Wraps pre-race show to go through. Let's go ahead and get the party started. This is going to be fun, I think. We've got 3 really cool drivers to talk to. We're going to lead off the charge with the one, the only league admin, Stephen Borbell himself. And Stephen, as we open up a night of racing here in Nashville, this is kind of a home race for you. This is right in your neck of the woods, or at least close to it there in Tennessee. How excited are you to try and go after a win? It's been a couple of seasons. It's been since season 3. How excited are you to go after it this evening?
Thanks for having me tonight. I'm just really excited to be back in the car, 1, and then 2, being back at an intermediate. I really like intermediates, and Nashville as a whole has been good to me for the most part. So really just excited. Hopefully we can get all 175 laps in. I'm going to reiterate to all the guys before we get going here that we do have that 2-hour time limit into play, but it should be a good time.
Even 5th in points after a Daytona race, that's always something you want to build momentum on, because Daytona is such a wild card with how the points are going to shake up, and every point's going to matter as we get closer and closer to the chase. And we're talking about it early, but every point is going to matter. What is your next step to keep that momentum rolling here in Nashville tonight?
Yeah, I think it's just do what I try to do every week. Consistency at the end of the day. You don't typically see myself going fighting for every kind of win. I see myself getting a top 5, top 10, getting some points, getting out of it, and being happy with it. So I think that's the plan moving forward. Points, I'm not worried too much. We're after week 1, especially Daytona. Kind of curious to see how some of these guys that were good in the next gen, see if they adapt to the ARCA still, and maybe even vice versa. Maybe some guys that were a little bit slower in the next gen, maybe with the ARCA change, that helps them. I think tonight's going to be really telling of that to I guess the guys to watch throughout the rest of the season, since we have a lot of intermediate tracks on the schedule.
So maybe Daytona isn't a huge indicator of how the season's going to go, but take into account the last few races, of season 4, and now your good start at Daytona here for season 5. You actually sit 9th in the power rankings, and I think that speaks volumes considering you missed so many races back in season 4 when everything was going on over the summer. That, I think, speaks volumes on the program you guys have over there at the team right now. So how can you keep this trend upwards? How can you maybe bring Adam into things? Of course, you don't have Jared Hughes on the team anymore. So how can the 2 and the 5 both get up and stay up on these power rankings this season?
Yeah, that's really surprising, hearing that I'm 9th somehow. And I felt like every time I did end up racing last season, I know it was come and go, but it didn't feel like it went well. So again, I think it just comes back to the consistency thing. Adam and I think we build our whole race style off of consistency ever since we started racing together. I know he's really quick here. He won the practice race last night. Obviously, he'll probably end up getting the practice race curse because of that. But No, it's just we know we're fast enough to compete on a weekly basis. So as long as we stay out of any incidents, I think tonight's going to be a really big deal if we get green flag pit stops on pit entry, because it is a really difficult pit entry to hit, and especially with the potential of people running through you, kind of like we saw at the Cup race in Vegas a couple weeks ago. But yeah, just staying out of the incidents and keeping it clean.
Well, I definitely hope we don't have any turn 4 pitting incidents like that at Las Vegas, but hey, we'll see how things go. Steven, thanks for your time, and hopefully we're talking to you later on today.
Yes, thank you, Andrew and Zach. Catch y'all later.
That's Stephen Borbell in car number 2 this evening, the Performance Food Service number 2 Ford Mustang. We'll move right on down to a very special gentleman, and Zach, this is a good guy. I mean, this is somebody that we just get to talk to a lot, but enjoy talking to. It's Dustin Stallings, defending series champion, defending winner from a week ago, defending Nashville winner. He's got a lot to defend this evening here in Nashville. He is coming right to you. It's Dustin Stallings.
Yeah, Dustin, he's been phenomenal these last 2 seasons. I mean, once we lost Mason, we lost Gavin. He started to take that extra step and extra role. He won. He, like you said, he's defending champion. He's won the last 2 season openers. Dustin, what is it going to take to keep that momentum rising? You won national last season. I mean, what is going through your mind as you enter tonight?
Honestly, it's just consistency, taking care of tires, and just kind of make calculated moves in a sense. That's about all I'm really kind of thinking about. I didn't really get much practice over the weekend since I had some family in town, so I'll just kind of have to find my rhythm in the race and just kind of hope for the best.
And of course, this is a good racetrack for you, Dustin. I almost called you the new Concrete King, but we'll leave that for maybe after Bristol race or Dover race or something. But you seem to really get this place under your belt pretty quickly. Has the car adjustment suited your liking? I mean, you seem to like the racetrack, but how about the race car at this racetrack?
Still kind of adjusting to the car in a way. I was telling my teammates just a few laps I have turned here with the ARCA car. I'm kind of, I know some people might not agree with me, but I kind of feel like it has a next gen feel to it, but there's like subtle differences, I believe, just because the ARCA car's got the solid rear axle instead of the independent rear suspension and stuff. But dirty air is huge, track position's a big key. It's just going to be interesting. There's going to be some pretty aggressive moves being made just because of how much of a factor the dirty air and track position is. So I'm kind of expecting, I don't really know what to expect, to be honest, but this is one of my favorite tracks, but ever since it come to the service, I just kind of clicked for me. I don't know what it is, but yes, I love this track. I just hope I have a good show for it tonight.
That's the hope for sure. And of course, in the Scooty Lou 175, the Scooty Lou 00 looks really good on the racetrack. Best of luck here, Dustin. Hopefully, we're talking to you later on tonight.
Appreciate it, boys.
Dustin Stallings with the Scooty Lou Toyota Camry on the racetrack. I guarantee we'll be talking to him in some aspect tonight, whether it's for a stage win or a race top 3, who knows. He actually has some really good competition to the guy next to him right now that we just talked to, Stephen Borbell. So these two could be a lot of fun to watch. There you see them side by side on the racetrack. We could be talking to each of these guys on the podium later this evening. They are both very, very quick here tonight at Nashville. Moving on down the line, though, we'll grab Jason Bottoms, who was top 10 last week at Daytona International Speedway and has opened this season now in the top 10 in standings, but I believe for the first time in your BRB career, Jason. That's a good way to get this season started. What can you build on from Daytona last week to Nashville here tonight?
Just keeping all 4 corners on the car. I mean, it was awesome to come away with it last week in the top 10 and be in a good point spot, so just doing everything we can here to stay out of trouble and continue to stack some points.
Yeah, Jason, you switched your number up in the off season, still with redacted. Now it looks like you guys are now. Oh, you guys are still Chevys, but now you switched your number to the 17. Can you take me through that whole transition to the new 17 now?
I wanted a number that could win. Last season, I went to the 95 because it was one of the only numbers that has never won in NASCAR, and I thought maybe I could get that done, and I just realized that I think that number is not due for anything good in the future after my last season, so number 17 has been good to a lot of drivers, and hopefully I can get some of that luck.
And these ARCA cars, of course, it's almost like a buzzword, to get the season started. Completely different from what we've seen the last 4 seasons here in this league. And you've been around for a while now, kind of lurk around the back of the field maybe a little bit. But is this an opportunity for you to get up there and maybe be on more level playing field with some of these drivers making this change over this ARCA car and get up there and get some better finishes and I think surprise some people here in this season?
I think so. I think this car opens a lot of doors and a lot of opportunity with it. Just being able to maybe drive it and a little bit different or a little bit deeper, hang on the right rear a little bit more than some people can, because you can't really do that in a lot of other cars. But I feel like this car, you can really rely on your right rear, and I feel like that's where I can get it done, at least.
Jason Bottoms making the fan club proud with a solid finish a week ago at Daytona. We'll be watching for you, Jason. Best of luck here in Nashville. I know the fan club is going to be watching, so hopefully we see that 17 up front.
Hopefully, man. We'll do our best out there. Thank you.
That's Jason Bottoms with a beautiful admin box paint scheme on that Chevrolet. Good to talk to Jason for the first time, by the way, here at Pit Stop TV. Really cool to finally kind of put a voice to the race car, if you will. I want to go through the standings before we go too much further here because we usually do that right after the track map. But of course, the MX Raps pre-race show has changed things up a little bit, and here you go. Here's a look at things after one race, and we'll get to power rankings in a second. Of course, we know, Zach, that Stephen Borbell now sits 9th in the power rankings, but these standings, it's way too early. I want to say that, first of all. It's way too early to put too much stock in this, but I think some interesting names are going to be guys like Jordan White, Kyle Clank, even Cameron Carden, Coulter Clark in the top 12 right now. You get a good start to your season, get up front early, you might be able to hang on up there. All you got to do is just get off on the right foot, and sometimes things fall into place, and these are guys that need to get the season started off right and stay up front.
Yeah, I mean, when I won my race in season 3, I was at the top of the standings, and I was in the playoff hunt for a lot of the season until it was like later in the regular season. But you have a good start, you have a lot of momentum. When you have momentum, you have confidence. When you have confidence, you drive the cars a lot better. A lot of people, I'm looking right now really at Cameron Carden. I think he's going to be a really dark horse driver that could possibly take the next step, get his first win this season, and keep moving his way up the rankings. Or standings.
And I think a couple of drivers that are on this graphic, but not quite in the top 12 right now to watch for, definitely Tyler Bentley. He was a lot of fun to watch at Daytona. Granted, it was just Daytona. But even Tim Henderson, those two Spirit Racing drivers, a lot of unknowns surround them. Mason Houseman has faith in them. We got to watch out for them. But also guys like, I would say, Caden Perkins, Gray Walker, of course, was in the chase last season. Richard Walsifer, we know he can contend for the chase, but he's 21st right now, one race in. And of course, again, it's one race in, way too early to put stock in things, but watch out for him to try and move up the order. And then Josh Parent. Josh Parent especially, and I'm not saying this just because he's one of my drivers over at Whiplash Racing, but Josh Parent, I know he's 24th in the standings right now. He is 7th on the speed charts right now in practice. We got to watch out for this 22 car as the season goes on. If he can just have some good luck, I really got some faith in driver 22 this season, and I think he's going to turn some heads if he can just turn his luck around. Now, I mentioned power rankings. We'll get there in a second. First off, schedule. We opened things up at Nashville or Daytona. Now we're here at Nashville. There we go. Next week, Zach, I know we've got to get through tonight first, but Richmond, a short track, 3rd race of the season, that could be chaotic.
Yeah, making our return to Richmond, I believe it might be the 2nd time I feel like we've been there before. But yeah, Richmond, a great short track. It's nice that we're getting that super speedway feel at Daytona, then we're getting, like kind of an intermediate with the 1.3. It's still almost a 1.5. And then we go to a short track in Richmond. And Richmond's always a great track to watch a race, to race at a race. And I expect a lot of change in those point standings when we get to Richmond and when we go to the road course at Long Beach.
Yeah, there's a lot of volatility in the opening portion of the schedule. I say the opening third, because the opening third is just all over the place. The middle third is very intermediate heavy. There's, Chicagoland, Pocono, California, Las Vegas, Kentucky, Darlington. They're all pretty much intermediates. Pocono's a little bit longer. It's a bigger speedway, so is California. But otherwise, those are all intermediates, and Pocono, California race like intermediates. Then the back third is going to be a little more chaotic again. Atlanta, Michigan, Watkins Glen, Talladega, Phoenix, Miami. So it's going to be interesting to see how this season actually breaks down. But I do like the structure here for season number 5 in this brand new Sundance Pro Series. Finally, power rankings. Zach, there have been some big moves since we last looked at this graphic. We didn't look at it last week. Going into the season opener, we didn't want to get too caught up in that. We let a week go. We now have power rankings back, and things have changed. Carl Pooler sits third. We've got a lot of accelerate here in the top 10. Christian Barnes is still up here. Zach Granville, despite missing Daytona, is still in the top 10. That's how good he was at the back end of season 4. And then Steven Borbell up in 9th, I think, is a big, serious guy to watch for. Now, there's some caveats because, of course, this is at a perfect score of 100. Dustin Stallings is way up there compared to everybody else. 70.7. Brendan Maddox, the closest, at 51.8. So there's definitely a big lead there for Dustin. But it's showing just how close everybody else is. And if Dustin falters at all, or if this car proves to be a little more even than we thought, this is going to change a lot this season.
Yeah, the one really shocking thing is seeing Carl in third. He just made that switch over to Maverick Motorsports from what was Limitless Esports. But Carl, he looked really strong last week in both the practice race and in the actual race for the Daytona race. And he's looking like he's getting that help that he was looking for and why he left that team. And it's nice to see him up there because he is a great guy. Still looking for his first win. I think he's like second or third in starts and still is missing that win. Johnny Wood in 10th. That is the big shocker to me. I wouldn't expect him to be so low. But this is all going to change as we go week by week.
Yeah, and of course this is very much swayed by Daytona last week, but it does take into account the back end of season 4 and then last week at Daytona. So as we settle into a groove here, get into some quote real racetracks, things will change. I wouldn't be surprised if Carl drops a couple of spots, maybe Gray bumps up, and I think if Granville gets back on track, I haven't noticed he is here tonight, he should bump back up. I think Borbell and Johnny will go up, Christian should go up, but then we've got some new names that are sitting 11th, 12th, 13th that are going to bump in there as well, I think, and we're going to see some movement here on this graphic. It's definitely not going to be the same when we unload in Richmond next week. But that said, Zach, practice is coming down to a close. I know it says there's 40 minutes to go, but the session is 30 minutes off, staggered, if you will. So we really have 10 minutes to go. Let's go ahead and take a look around the racetrack a little bit at some paint schemes and who's fast, maybe who's trying to get there. Johnny Wood Jr., fastest in practice right now. The 75 clearly has it going, and if we look at the weather conditions brought to you by Cody Williams Design, I mean, it's a pretty fair day here in Nashville. 75.9 degrees ambient, 89 track temp. Not too crazy. I think there's some grip out there. And look at that, Dustin Stallings, top of the board as he follows his Maverick Motorsports teammate in Carl Pooler down into turn 1. Jason Bottoms is there as well. The 00, man, how can you bet against him?
Yeah, you really can't. It was a Dustin show last season when he won, what was it, 9 out of 10 stages last season?
At one point in time, yeah.
It looked like it was dominant. It honestly, during those 5, I think it was those 5 races, he looked like he looked more dominant than what Mason Houseman, Gavin Rogers have looked prior to them leaving. He looked just as dominant, so he's probably gonna keep this momentum up and follow up with it.
Scott Fritz was a lot of fun to watch last time we were here at Nashville. He is third in practice right now, so clearly he's got this racetrack figured out. He was really good here in the next gen, switching over to the ARCA car, still pretty good here tonight. And then look at fourth place, Zach, Josh Parent. And you don't have to go much further to find the next surprise. I wouldn't even say Josh is a surprise, but Josh Parent sitting fourth. Zachary Maddox, top 5 in practice right now. Cameron Gilmore is up there. I mean, this is going to be wide open, I think. I think you have Dustin definitely ahead, and then a lot of guys very, very close right behind.
Yeah, all these lap times are really, really similar. I mean, the top 2 are in that 29.6, but there's about 5 or 6 guys but after that are in the 29.7s, and they're all really close on times too. So it's really just going to be all about who can get the advantage, who can take advantage, who has momentum, who can run the top, who can run the bottom, who can run any lane and propel themselves to the front.
Carl Pooler, 12th in practice so far. Richard Wolsifer out there in 13th. Guys, I mean, they'd go a little faster potentially, as well as Matthew Selby, who's 14th. Evan Patinko, of course, making the new team switch over to Whiplash Racing. New paint scheme there for him. He sits in 15th so far in practice. But I think overall, if you look at Whiplash, they've got Josh Parent up in 4th. Evans here in 15th. Magnus Anderson, brand new to the team, is here in the 18th spot. And Cameron Carden really is the only one that needs to find speed. He's down in the 26th position in practice right now. But this is a short track guy. He grew up around the Pulaski County area in Virginia, over at Motor Mile Raceway in the Pulaski area of Virginia. He knows how to get around a short track. I think when we hit places like Richmond and North Wilkesboro, he will start to come alive in this race car especially.
Yeah, I've been able to have the chance to talk with Carden lately over the last couple of weeks on how his outlook is for the season, and he said really it's just watching tape, watching how guys run, staying away from the incidents, and that plagued him a little bit last season. But as long as he can stay out of those incidents and stay out of issues, he should be good.
Here's one of your guys, Kingston, Jamaica's Jourdain White. Had that great finish, 2nd place a week ago, 3rd in the standings. I don't want to get too far down the Jourdain train just yet, but he has the potential. If he can follow up that run a week ago with anything, I'd say top half of the field, that's a good way to start the season and start your career here in this series.
Yeah, over the last week and a half, Jordan has been really, really vocal in our team group. He's the one that's put down the most practice laps, I believe, this whole week for this race. He ran really good last night in the practice race, but he's showing me a lot of things that are really, really good, and he's showing little bad things, but he's gonna be one to beat here soon.
Kyle Klink also has some attention around him. The Saskatoon, there we go, Saskatoon, Canada native, definitely has some energy going on over there with Synergy Racing Group. He is trailing his teammate Cole Lewis a little bit right now. Cole is 20th in practice, and Kyle Klink is 27th, so they have a little bit of work to do, but we could see a long run kind of race tonight. Who knows? If we just get cautions falling at the right place and whatnot, we could get into one of those kind of formations, if you will. But Zach, I think it's time to go ahead and go through some of these paint schemes and pick our top 4 for the MX Wraps Best in Show contest. And I know you've been looking around the field a little bit. I know you've got a couple of ideas already.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna switch it up because I just reloaded all my paint schemes. I'm about to go with the 48. I'm loving that Jimmy Johnson-esque car that he made, and he just made some little tweaks to it, but I'm a really big fan of that 48 car.
It definitely looks good. It's got that kind of almost Jimmy Johnson Intimidator era look going to it. For a while there, it felt like he kind of fit that motif. He had all the experience. He was one of the veterans, had the championships. I like what's going on there, so I'll log him. Give me 1 second here. So we'll put in Scott Fritz. And that is a JJ throwback. Jimmy Johnson throwback, of course. I was looking around earlier, and I actually really enjoyed the 19. I think anytime you're in Music City and see somebody go all in on the music theme, I hate to nominate him 2 weeks in a row, but man, it looks good. The Jaguar artistry theme there with the music going, I mean, that's a good-looking Nashville paint scheme. I would be hard-pressed to miss that, so Caden Perkins gets a nod from me.
That is a fantastic paint scheme by Caden there. I just love the pink. I like it looks like a Miami Vice car, if you'd say. But yeah, phenomenal paint scheme by the 19 there. And there's a lot of good schemes tonight, and that is really nice to see. But honestly, I'm gonna have to just go with Evan Patinko. The yellow and the green Cabela's car, oh my goodness, it looks a little weird, but it does have a really good taste to it.
Man, you're putting me on the spot here. Last place in the vote. Who am I gonna go for? I saw this one, of course, last week at Daytona, and I'm gonna go for it here today at Nashville. I like what's going on here with this Tim Henderson Spirit Racing number 88. I'm a fan. I like the halftone kind of thing going on. You don't see that used too much in design, so I like that. And let's see, the spots are on that. We will go, well, I'll just name it halftone. I think that's the way we can categorize that. So that vote will go up all the way through stage one. I'm going to give an honorable mention to a car that just went through the frame, Anthony DeSeo. It was between those two, I think, for me. This is a really cool one. I like the simplicity, but also the really bright colors. That is really cool. So whatever's going on there for Anthony DeSeo's 15 car tonight is definitely going to be hard to miss.
Yeah, I gave Teseo the reins this week on letting him design his own paint scheme as he's running for my team. We have sponsors and backing, but I let him have fun with it, and that was awesome to have.
Well, as we get ready to switch over to traditional kind of race coverage, I want to thank you, Zach, for, of course, spending your time here pre-race with us. Practice is about to end here in a couple of minutes. We're going to go right into qualifying and then, of course, into the race, but we aren't making this an official thing just yet. Maybe we will soon. Zachary King, do you have a pick for the race today?
Oh, you know what? I think Adam's going to break that winless streak that he has. He has an 11 race winless streak entering tonight. I think he's going to pull through and I think he's going to win. He's been pretty good here on these concrete ovals during the practice. He won at Dover before, and I think he can get it done tonight.
I'm scrolling trying to find the 5 in timing and scoring, but he's listed as a 31 tonight, a number error on the scoring side of the session. But Buzzio sits 8th so far in practice. There you see on the timing tower on the left side of the screen. 8th in practice, right behind Gilmore, ahead of Maddox. He's in good company. Definitely, if you're top 10 in practice right now, you've got a solid chance to win this race, so that's a good pick. We will say goodbye then to Zachary King for the evening, but welcome in Devin Mosley. So Zachary, thanks for your time, and Devin Mosley, as we bring you over into the broadcast booth and conclude tonight's MXWraps.com pre-race show. Qualifying is about to get started literally in a matter of moments as practice comes to a close here. Thoughts going into your first race here in Season 5. Of course, you joined us for Talladega last season in Season 4 right at the end of things, but as we get this season properly underway now, first intermediate of the season, you got a chance to kind of see what's going on around the league now after Daytona a week ago. Any thoughts that maybe who to watch for here in qualifying?
It sounds a little repetitive, but I'm looking at Stephen Borbell and how he's been racing here lately. Looks really fast here at the Nashville particularly. I'm really enjoying it. But something I've also noticed about this racetrack so far is you got to be careful in the exits of turn 4 here. Seems like a lot of people were, spinning out loose coming out of that corner. They're just pushing for fast times, obviously, but it'll be something to keep an eye on, sure, as this race gets on, especially late in the race when people are fighting for that final position.
On board now with Adam Buzzio. He's going to grab the wall here out of turn 4. He's going to lock it straight down and skid to a stop. So let's pick up Brendan Maddox perhaps and go on board with the number 23 car. Get a look inside the car as Maddox gets up to speed here in qualifying. This is important to do, I think. I think especially this racetrack. Brand new car for these guys. Take a look at what they've got basically at their hands, right? At their fingertips. This is what it's like to drive one of these cars right now for the most part. This is what you would be seeing if you were in that car currently. Maddox up off of turn 4. This is lap 1. We'll see where it lands. Looked a little tight in 1 and 2. So as the tires take temperature, he should pick up. That was not a great first lap for Brendan at all. He's actually down the order quite a bit as Johnny Wood Jr. is fastest so far. Maddox through turns 3 and 4. Karma might be coming to him here, trying to get down underneath a 30-second lap time. And it will be under 30 seconds. It's actually going to contend for pole. And yes, Brendan Maddox to the top of the board over Zachary Brandvold and Johnny Wood Jr. There's Brandvold. He's got one more lap in the tank. He could go for pole.
These cars actually flying down the backstretch and down these corners, and this apex right there is the key to these fast laps. You can get down to the apex, maybe even cut in that corner a little bit, it'll help you out. But he's going to dive down on the front stretch, get on that apron, cut off some time. New fast lap.
Caden Perkins jumps up. That's a big lap out of Caden Perkins. I know he was excited about this race a season ago. Here's Evan Patinko now off of turn number 4. To the start-finish line. Can he move up? He's new to this car still. He's trying to go for broke. He is going to move forward at least on this qualifying chart. No, lap time invalidated it seems. Here's Cameron Carden perhaps. Adam Buzzio is going to go 7th. His laps are done. Parent goes 18th in qualifying. Fritz is going to be 20th so far. Carden's going to be done. He'll have to settle for 12th rather. Waylon Nelson will go 21st. Matthew Selby, 24th. Tyler Bentley, well down the order in the 27th spot. A few heavy hitters left to go. Tim Henderson, one of them. There's that 88 car. Scott Fritz, top 10 now. He goes 8th. Sorry to cut you off.
Very good, man. Let's get started that lap, though. You got down to the apron perfectly. You don't want to cut it going to the entry of that lap, but coming to these end of these qualifying, you got to make as much time gain as you can. So cutting that apron, shortening that front stretch as much as you can is really key here to getting that fast time.
Tim Henderson currently leading the Best in Show vote at 54%. A lot of fans of that Spirit Racing 88 trying to go for broke here in qualifying. That lap puts him 27th. He's got one more lap to go. It seems that he'll be abandoning it, so he'll have to settle for a back-of-the-pack start. Dakota Bly, brand new paint scheme for him. One that his girlfriend wanted him to run. It's an obvious nod there to Taylor Swift's new album. He goes 31st in qualifying, but Christian Barnes, top 10, he'll go 8th. Let's see, Ethan Johnson, labeled here as Jeffrey Johnson, he'll go 30th, so down the order. And Dustin Stallings, a glaring omission here in qualifying. He ran all 3 laps. Not a single one of them counted. So I wonder then, did the weather conditions change abruptly? I mean, it's a little bit cooler. I don't see too many differences, though.
Something I noticed with some of these laps here, especially some of the invalidated ones, was that something that may help but also may hurt the car is when they're nicking that outside wall and entry or onto exit of these corners, especially 3 and 4. It may invalidate those lap times, unfortunately.
So Dustin Stallings is going to be starting from the rear of the field. Caden Perkins will lead us to the green as Toyota is locked down in the top 4 spots here in qualifying. That is a huge deal, I'd say, for this qualifying effort from the entire field. Let's see how the weather conditions change. It'll take a second here. It's going to go up to 101 for a second. There we go. 83-degree track temp. So it's coming down. It's trending downwards. I think we're later in the afternoon now. I think we're going to race towards the sunset just a little bit. Not too crazy. I like those weather conditions for sure. But let's get to the racetrack here and take a look at our starting grid brought to you by Lucky Performance. On pole this evening, Caden Perkins, car number 19. He'll lead us to the green of the Scooty Lou 175. Brendan Maddox from position number 2. He will follow up there on the outside lane. Starting from 3rd, it'll be Zachary Brandvold making a return to the series after missing Daytona a week ago. Cameron Gilmore, a part-time driver, will start from 4th. Johnny Wood Jr. will roll off from 5th spot. Stephen Borbell from 6th. Back in 7th, it's Adam Buzzio. Then Christian Barnes in 8th. How about his teammate Jourdain White starting inside the top 10? Scott Fritz will start from 10th. Devin?
Starting 11th is Zachary Maddox, and outside of him will be Brixton Skinner in the 33 car. Number 13 will be Gray White in the 18 vehicle. Colton Clark will be number 54 on the outside, starting 14th. 25th will be Carmen Carden, and outside of him will be Evan Patinko. Starting 17th, Magnus Anderson in the 4 car, and in 71 car, Carl Puller starting 18th. Starting 19th, Richard Wolsifer. Glad to have him back. And number 20th, Jamie Plord. Hope I said that right.
Yeah, teammates there in row 10 alongside one another. Joshua Parent rolls off 21st. Anthony Teseo from 22nd. Back at 23rd, Waylon Nelson, a rookie here. He'll start to the inside of Cody Dorsey. It'll be Matthew Selby from 25th spot. Kyle Klenk from 26th. It'll be Tim Henderson back in the 27th spot, of course, after that abysmal qualifying effort. I think we will see him move forward. Cole Lewis back there in 28th. Tyler Bentley, so Spirit Racing, both starting towards the back of the field. At least they're full-timers anyway. Jeffrey Johnson there from 30th, just a few cars left. Jason Bottoms, Dakota Bly, Dan Stockaro, Dustin Stallings with that issue in qualifying, and Robert Moyer Jr. at the back of the field. It looks like Braxton Skinner will start from the pit lane. Let's quickly go through your Whiplash SimCams race details, as this will be a 175 lap race, 232 or 233 miles really. 2-hour time limit is in effect, so if we do get up to that time limit, we will see the race cut off. But stage 1 will run for 50 laps, then we'll race 125 to the end. 4 change sets out there, 70% fuel, fixed sets, 3 green light checkers if we need them. No fast fix available for these drivers tonight. It's gonna be a fun time, and the field is already working down through turns 3 and 4, ready to go at it. This is race number 2, season 5 of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. The Scooty Loo 175 about to go green on turn number 4, Nashville Super Speedway. The concrete 1 1/3 mile coming alive this evening. The Scooty Loo 175 is green. Up the racetrack already. Caden Perkins into Brendan Maddox. Toyota's all over the front of the field. Maddox takes over. Here comes Johnny Wood Jr. down low.
Johnny Wood Jr. down low, deep dive into turns 3 and 4, trying to make the finish on that pass. Doesn't quite finish it. This is a really, really tight battle start of this race. His tires are very cold in this concrete surface. Going to be a lot of slipping and sliding coming in turn 1.
Caden Perkins down to the 4th spot across the line. He's on the outside of Johnny Wood Jr. Stephen Borbell in right behind. Christian Barnes ahead a couple of spots, or, well, of the top 10 anyways. He is in the 7th spot as Borbell falls in behind the 69 of Cameron Gilmore. Everybody finding their place here. Lap 2 will go complete.
These cars all trying to find their line and stick to it. A lot of people going to the bottom. There's a couple of top feeders already earlier in this race. New fast lap, Brandon Maddox, 29.85.
Up off of turn 2, I love this angle. Racing right into your living room. That is such a cool view there. Love these shots here at Nashville Super Speedway. Zach Brandvold starting to look to the inside just a little bit of Brendan Maddox, as Maddox actually runs high up the racetrack through 3 and 4 that time. I can't tell if Maddox is trying to give Brandvold some daylight down there, or if that's just Maddox's line. I really can't tell yet.
Yeah, I think he's trying to just miss that dirty air a little bit. Some of this they talked about earlier as they were interviewing these guys, that these dirty air still plays very heavily on these ARCA cars, even though they're not the next gens. And just taking away a little bit of air off the side that might mess the cars enough to keep that gap going into the next these corners here.
Josh Parent having some trouble early. He's down to the 25th spot. Of course, we saw him in the top 10 in practice. He's not the only one deep in the field. Of course, we saw Dustin Stallings with issues in qualifying. He's down there in 29th right now, trying to find his way through this field. This is his view right now, 29th spot. He has got to get moving if he wants stage points.
Yeah, it's hard to get past all these cars as fast as you are with all these people blocking lane after lane. It's like you're stuck behind 2 big semis of air, keeping you from making those complete passes. That's the guy comes from right under him right there. And that's going all over again, get right past the 88 car.
This is racing with Tim Henderson. You've got Jason Bottoms right behind. Cole Lewis back here as well. Robert Moyer, Dan Stockaro, Dakota Bly, Braxton Skinner. The back end of the field. This is one of the worst running positions we've seen for Dustin Stallings in a long time. Again, 29th, now 28th spot as he gets ahead of Tim Henderson into turn 3. This is not at all what we've come to expect for this driver, so a watch for him to move up as the day goes on. Up front, things are nice and tight in your top three. Maverick Motorsports, that's going to be Spirit Racing with Zachary Brandvold, and then Accelerate Motorsports with the 19. There's a problem for Jordan White. He is slow on the back straightaway. He's going to drop all the way out of the top 20 and then some.
Yeah, didn't quite catch what happened there. Maybe got loose off that corner. Going to get this replay here.
Watch here to turn one, right behind Scott Fritz. Jourdain dives in, gets in the back of Scott, and what a slide for the Jamaican sensation. Hangs on to the race car, but the Jourdain train looking like a caboose right now.
It was a great save, though. It's hard to make those saves in these slick concrete surfaces. He kept it good and stayed on the bottom, didn't wreck anybody in the process, and we're still racing green. Love to see it.
I am glad we've been green thus far in this race. I mean, we've seen a lot of cautions here at Nashville in BRB's tenure at this racetrack. This is a good start. I know we're only 9 laps in, so still way early, just like points and whatnot. It's too early to really say anything, but this is a pretty solid start so far, as here's a move from Carl Puller on Jamie Plord. This is for 14th spot, right ahead of Gray Walker. And we're still learning who's going to be good in this car and who maybe needs some work still. We're still coming to grips with who's actually going to have speed in these ARCA cars. This is the first real testament of who can do it, I think, as far as points racing goes. I know they've had their test races and everything, but for us with the broadcast, for points, for the series, this is the first true test for these guys to go racing in these cars and see who's got it and who doesn't.
Yeah, as much as these cars are different from the next gen, they are very much the same. These are both composite body vehicles. It's just a Gen 6 body with slightly bigger splitters, slightly bigger spoiler. They can still take a little bit of a beating. At the same time, they're still very much glued into the ground until you get really close to one each other. And that's when you start seeing like real racing moves. Someone getting loose off the top side, someone getting a little tight off the bottom, they'll slide.
Watching the leaders, Brennan Maddox and Zachary Brandvold. They were Dustin Stallings' kind of best competition last season for the championship, I felt like, for a while. I know Johnny Wood Jr. was up there as well, but it really seemed like the 23 and 55 were the next best in the field. They're starting the season off now on the right foot, leading here in stage one. I know, again, a long ways to go, but this is the situation right now, right? Like we got to talk about something. We can't be silent here on lap 12. We have to say something, and so far it's a good look for these drivers.
Yeah, Brandvold seems to start to be looking for a way to pass Maddox here, because I'm starting to see him stick way, way low, and Maddox seems to be sliding ever so slightly, so maybe there might be a little bit of tire wear here, or like the pressure's just coming on from behind and making some mistakes. But Brandvold has this nice, smooth line. He's holding the bottom very, very well, and Maddox seems to be searching for something, trying to get some gap to Brandvold and from the rest of this field here.
And again, this could be Brendan giving air to Zach down low right now, although that time he kind of came down in front of Zachary a little more, but they're in the same Discord channel. These two are working together as part of a larger collaboration between Maverick Motorsports and Spirit Racing. They try to help each other out. They talk a lot during these races. Of course, I don't know exactly how much they're saying between one another, but they're in the same chat at the very least, so they can, at least, talk a lot as there's a caution somewhere in the field. Dustin Stallings, oh no, defending champion, power rankings leader. That's going to be it for the Scooty Lou 00. This is really big.
I don't like how that bumper's flopping. It looks like it must have been a very hard hit back there. Could be a lot of damage, very tough on the aero too.
This is a really big deal. Take note of this. He was already deep in the field due to the qualifying effort. We'll, of course, get a replay. This is... I cannot understate the importance of this moment for Dustin Stallings. It's really hard to back up a championship in any kind of sport. Right here, Waylon Nelson just gets into him. Kind of a right hook down into turn one, but there's a little more going on there, I feel like.
I'm just hoping that was like just a misjudge on their part of like who was making the pass, entry of that corner right there. That's what it seemed like to me from that first angle. Like, he's trying to push the issue, get as far ahead as he can. He's seeing get passed up there. Yeah, he slowly dived down, try to cross over, and there was already a guy there.
I know Waylon's a rookie. That's, I think, even more of a reason why this can't happen. Second race in the series. Looking the defending champion, defending race winner here at Nashville, and this is not something you can afford to have happen if you're this new to the league like this, to wreck the champion like this, the points leader. I definitely don't think it's intentional on Waylon's part, but if you look at this, right, down the straightaway, I'll slow it down here. He hangs a good ways off this wall, and Dustin, he's a veteran. He's expecting Waylon to go up to the wall, just like Cody Dorsey is ahead. Waylon hangs off the wall, and that's the big difference here. I'll let race control, of course, give their ruling, but when we looked at it from head on, Devin, I felt like I saw the 91 move more than the 00.
I'd have to agree with that statement. I don't feel like it was malicious at all in any sense of the word, but I definitely saw him move slightly down, and it was a little bit too soon. I could see him getting fixated on trying to make a crossover move, but you gotta remember there's people outside of you sometimes or above you. You gotta take them into account before you make these big diving moves. It's early in the race, it's lap 16 right now. And we were racing really clean. I was going to say earlier before the caution came out, I'm loving the patience that they're taking if they're learning this new car on this track combo here. And it's made some really good racing moves, but at the same time, it led to this one right here.
Let's see this view. This is from the back end of Cody Dorsey's perspective. Yeah, I definitely feel like Waylon came down the racetrack more than Dustin went up. Dustin's following a traditional racing line into that corner, and Waylon, I think, just doesn't quite realize where the right side of the car is right there, hangs off the wall, and ends up causing that one, I'm going to say, but we'll see how race control feels about it. We have 4 cars staying out at the front of the field. Johnny Wood Jr. is the best running of the 4. He will lead us back to the green. It'll be Johnny Wood Jr., Cody Dorsey, who we just saw that rear view from, then Jason Bottoms and Tim Henderson. Your top 4 when we come around to the green flag. Everybody else pitted for some kind of service. It seems to be... It's too late for a replay. By the way, Stallings is still running, but he is limping back to the field. I can't tell if it's a 2-tire stop or fuel only. Maybe Zach King can give us some more clarity there in our text chat we have, but I can't tell yet if any tires were taken by guys like Maddox and such. I mean, it's 6 to 7 seconds through most of the field here for the pit stops. Regardless, here we go, back to the restart zone to get stage 1 back underway. The Scooty Lou 175 will scoot on some more. Green flag once again here at Nashville. Overhead view through turns 1 and 2. Bottoms getting checked up. He gets hit from behind. That was Brandvold giving him a shot that stacks at the outside lane. Check up 6, 7 cars back, 8 cars back into turn 3. Jason's still up there, now 3 wide. Scott Fritz in the middle, or down low rather. Brandvold's in the middle. Here we go.
That was a great launch by the leader, but we still got 3 wide, 2 wide up ahead, and they're seeming to get this figured out as some of these guys maybe on new tires, some of them just on better strategy, trying to make themselves single-filed, racing for the second position here with Henderson and Dorsey. Side by side entering turn number 3, Dorsey dives it low. No, Henderson dives it low. They're still side by side exiting 4, just not enough room to clear it.
Was a great restart, by the way, for race leader Johnny Wood Jr. He's out to a 1-second lead over these drivers. Maddox will go down low through 1 and 2 and try to pass Cody Dorsey here down the back straightaway, maybe. Maddox following Henderson down low. It's going to be 3 Toyotas versus 1 Chevy as Caden Perkins joins the fight.
That was a good arrow pinch right there by Maddox on Henderson, not quite finishing the pass just yet. Coming down the front stretch, still battling, might make that pass going into turn 1, and they'll put him back firmly in the 3rd place spot. He's going to take his time getting through all these guys. He has a decent strategy. He's pretty fast this track. I don't think his tires worn way too hard, only 20 laps into this race. And we're looking at him just trying to slowly reel back in that leader, Johnny Wood Jr.
There comes Caden Perkins, the inside of Cody Dorsey. This is going to be for the 4th spot. Side by side. This is the first side by side in the racetrack, by the way. And Johnny Wood Jr. is out to a 1.4, 1.5 second lead now over Henderson. This is the race from 4th on back now down the back straightaway. Maddox is right there on Henderson here to turn 3. Maddox will look low and will take the dive. So that bright yellow 23 will take over position number 2, 1.7 seconds back of race leader Johnny Wood Jr. He's now got a little more than half the stage here, Devin, to run that 75 car down.
Yeah, and I think he did a good job setting his tires. He and the 19 and Perkins weren't really racing too hard. They were just kind of making their laps, like we were saying earlier. They could have been communicating some sort of strategy, just talking together about what they're learning in this clean air, what they're feeling in dirty air. And they're going to really see how well these guys can track down the leader, Johnny Wood Jr. Now they have this big gap of 1.7 seconds ahead of them.
On board with Zachary Brandvold, it's going to be Adam Buzzio down to his inside. Buzzio moving through the top 10. He's in the 8th spot as we work into turn number 1 here. Nearly contact there between Wolsifer and Clark right behind these guys, and that is at that top 10 cutoff. Wolsifer now has that spot, and Clark wants it. Here comes Coulter Clark, a run at the 56 car, and Clark will dive here to turn number 3. Clark is that Red Bull 54. He checks up on the inside. And the 6.5 Motorsports Stintsbelt Chevrolet stays in 10th.
That was probably just like a really tight aero block right there. He got really in on that inside with all the cars on the high side. It kind of took the air off his nose. You can see him check up a little bit, probably just being way too tight. Didn't want to slide up the track and take out his competitor there. So it's a good move to back out. But it's a really tight race as you're seeing as these cars trying to battle and they get more comfortable with each other in this car. As you can get a lot tighter, closer and closer. Learn what they can and can't do with aero blocking and these moves on the quarter panel. Really tight racing up here near 5th place.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say those guys that pitted and restarted towards the front did not take tires. I'm going to say for the most part, this field did not take tires across the board. Only 4 change sets. It was lap 15 the caution came out. I don't think anybody took tires. I think it's just too early to do that. The fuel makes sense. You can't do a full stage on fuel as it stands at the green flag. I think you can go about 43 laps, Zach told us. So it makes sense to come in, get the fuel, keep the tires, and try to run stage 1 out on the 1 set.
Yeah, I think maybe for the 4 guys who stayed out, they're maybe thinking that maybe they could probably save some fuel, go under caution, coasting it with the engine off. Maybe it might be getting if it pays off. Oh, big wreck into turn 3.
And that is Zachary Brandvold on the outside. No caution yet. Cody Dorsey with him. No caution at all for these drivers. That's really big. Brandvold's got a pit. He can't get down yet. That car is going to be junk. No yellow is a huge, huge slap in the face to both Dorsey and Brandvold. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that car can't even handle anymore. He can't make the corner at all. He's going to struggle back, and that might be it for his chances on the day.
Watch that purple 55. He's trying to get clear of the 9. Follows the 5 up the racetrack, and that's another case of somebody assuming the outside car is going to take kind of a closer line to the wall. Dorsey hung off the wall a little bit. This is a little more heads up, I feel like, than the previous incident, but it's similar for sure.
It is very similar, but I gotta kind of put him more on 55. He cleared himself just a little bit too soon, and you're entering the corner too. I probably have just assumed you're not going to get that spot and dive into the corner, try to clear him there.
I almost put that equal fault between those 2 drivers, but Brandvold has now made the trek down to the pit lane. Finally got that car woed down, and this is huge. Again, a really good driver that contended for the championship last season is high in the power rankings, effectively out of the race here early. Now, Dustin Stallings, he got back on the racetrack under that caution. He has taken it back to the pit lane. That car was not in competition condition. He is back on pit lane in the last spot overall. Only 1 car now sits 1 lap down. This Dakota Bly. He pitted about a lap ago. Not sure why, but the 8 car took a trip down to the pit lane, has made it back on the racetrack 1 lap down as there is racing all over at the front of the field. There's Johnny Wood Jr. He's out front by 1.8 seconds, but everything is lighting up by timing and scoring behind.
Yeah, these guys are still tight to each other, just like how the race began. And that's just showing how good these guys are together and how close this car has brought everybody together. It could be anyone's race later once we get through that stage, but we still have plenty more laps to go before then. We got side-by-side racing here, going for what looks like position number 4.
This is Borbell in 6th, Henderson in 7th, Wolsifer in 8th, Clark in 9th, Selby in 10th, Gilmore, Plord, and Klenk right behind. A really good group of drivers right here, kind of top end of the field still, all battling for stage points. Selby right now, that yellow and red car, the final car that would pick up some stage points at the moment.
Yeah, you got 3 rows of 2x2 here, and no one's going to get by anybody until that first battle is concluded. So the 56 car finally clears his man, and let's see if that will bring the 56. Oh, no, there he goes.
The 88, Tim Henderson, spinning through turn 3, no caution again.
Oh, this is so hard.
Now, I just made the
feel bad for him.
comment in YouTube chat that the previous incident with Brandvold and Dorsey likely didn't bring out a yellow because the angle wasn't harsh enough to the racetrack. This time, I'm going to guess that it's because it's down in the grass for the 88. He just turns left, Selby's there, he's down on the grass, out of harm's way, and the sim let it run. One more look.
Yeah, that's just the truth.
Gonna be kind of a wide angle, but you see just the turn left of that white and purple or white and blue car across the nose of Matthew Selby and Henderson. You can see from that angle, that's why I took that angle, you can see just how far out of the way he was. So I get it. By iRacing standards for a caution, right, he's way out of the way. That doesn't necessarily need a caution flag. Obviously, if this were NASCAR, that would have been a yellow, but this isn't NASCAR, this is iRacing. It's a little bit different, so no yellow there for the 88 car spinning to the inside. We stay green. This is the battle, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Maddox, Perkins, and Fritz here in the 4th spot. Adam Buzzio into 5th. I said in pre-race, I thought this 48 might be sneaky good. Here he is.
Yeah, Fritz not only looks fast, but he actually is fast. He's sneaking up here, biding his time. There's no need to push it too soon. Just stay in line, save gas with some grab if you can. You know, learn a thing or two. These guys, you know, they were the pole sitters on the inside and outside row for a reason. There's definitely something you can learn from these guys from up ahead, and, you know, take what you learn now and use it for later in the race.
Scott Fritz is definitely going to be a driver to watch this season in general. He was good in the next-gen car, but I think this car will certainly suit his fancy a little better. Perkins throwing the block there on Fritz down the front stretch. Fritz gets to his inside. This is an aggressive battle here for 3rd spot.
Yeah, now we're making this move in turn 1 and 2. I think he probably just learned enough and it's time to go. He wants to make that spot as soon as he can, keep the gap behind him, because this is for position 4 in the stage when we get to that point. And he has a good line there on the bottom. Like, he's apexing the corners, he's holding that yellow line almost to a T. And if you can sneak under him one more time, it'll make that line for Perkins that much harder to keep, and he'll still have to give it up eventually.
Fritz right to the back bumper of the 19 car. You see Dustin Stallings in the background in this case. Foreground earlier. He's back on the racetrack. But Dustin is now 15 laps down, and Brandvold has signed out of the racetrack for the day. So Dustin can go pick that spot up, but it's going to be that kind of thing all day long for Dustin, just trying to grab spots as drivers drop out of the race. Fritz now dropping back of the 19 car, separating a bit. Next level teammates now 5th and 6th. We talked to one of them in pre-race. That was Borbell. And Steven was feeling pretty good, I think, about their chances in general. Here they are, 5th and 6th in the stage. Buzzio leading between the two of them. Certainly looking good for the 5 and 2 cars this evening. There they are, 5th and 6th. Down in the rest of the top 10. Good battle right behind the top 10. Zachary Maddox here moving up the order alongside Tyler Bentley. That's the battle for 11th.
Yeah, I was going to say I love this AA car earlier, but this battle here just got single filed out. But you got to find a way to get clean air, get your runs, and then pick a top or bottom lane to make these passes into these corners. You come up in this slightly slower car. You see, as you make these dives, if you can't hold it, you'll get tight and you'll slide up that racetrack, and that opens up for whoever's behind you. So you got to be very careful and picky and choosy when you make these aggressive moves.
A battle getting going again between Perkins and Fritz. You see the battle there, though, in the windshield for the 10th position. This is for the final stage point here in Stage 1, and frankly, we're getting right down to it. We're inside of 10 laps to go here in Stage 1. Not only will that be for the stage, but also for the Best in Show vote brought to you by MX Wraps. Just a few more laps to go in that. So you can get over in YouTube chat and make your vote known for what paint scheme you like the best. Of course, we saw Scott Fritz and his paint scheme along with Caden Perkins a moment ago. How about Evan Patinko? He is down in the 23rd spot. He's racing with Anthony Teseo. But there is Patinko's car. And the other option is going to be Tim Henderson in the 88. We saw him get turned around. He is now down in 29th spot. So those are your options for the MX Wraps Best in Show that will conclude at the end of Stage 1. Meanwhile, Fritz and Perkins side by side.
Fritz and Perkins still side by side on the exit of turn number 4 right there. Coming down the start-finish line, and they're really door-to-door right now, and this is where aero gets really, really important. Whoever's in the back has to side draft really hard to drag that car back, make them either tight or loose when entering those corners, and drag and claw off that spot, especially on the high side. It's really hard to pass on the high side here, it seems, tonight. So again, side draft. Oh, almost a contact there. But you side draft those corners, that way you can pull away and get a better dive in that corner as they finally complete that pass to Perkins.
I don't think Fritz likes that Borbell has caught them. He about squeezed Buzzio into the wall. Borbell's right behind him. Johnny Wood Jr. has had to pit for fuel. We knew this was a possibility. Didn't think it would be the case. Johnny Wood Jr. to the pit lane for gas here with 6 laps to go in Stage 1. This is a huge slap in the face to car at 75. He's not the only one. Cody Dorsey coming to the pit lane as well. And this suddenly promotes Brendan Maddox to the Stage 1 lead. 5 laps to go here in the stage. Trying to lap Waylon Nelson. He will lap the 91. And now this battle is for second.
Now we know for certain that that was a huge strategy call. Maybe they're hoping that there'd be another caution helping stretch the tank a little while longer, but it didn't fall in their favor. Still got this battle for third coming in with Perkins and Buzzio. Buzzio falls back in line. They're still looking to get past, Scott Fritz here. They're coming up on lap traffic, and maybe this will be the opportunity that he needs to finally complete the pass and stay ahead.
Some lap traffic there in Waylon Nelson. That's going to complicate things down the front stretch. Maybe through 1 and 2. Buzzio's going to have the dirtier air here. But he stays on the outside of Perkins, 3 wide off the corner for a moment. They squeeze, but they get by. Oh, Borbell threading the needle.
Not that lap car for staying out of the way and letting this good battle continue. I'm really enjoying the Borbell still on the high side, going to complete that pass in the exit of 4. And we have a really, really interesting battle coming here for third place here. Buzzio, Fritz, all here tight on each other. I don't know who's probably going to get this second place spot going into turn 2. They're eyeing up the proper spot. All you need to do is nose ahead the last second, and that'll get you some better stage points.
Maddox is gone for the lead, about to lap Johnny Wood Jr. Here's the move from Adam Buzzio to the inside of Scott Fritz. Big dive there from the 5 car. Side by side, turn 4. This is the fight for second place. 2 laps to go now in stage number 1.
Still battling side by side, entering corner 1, sorry. There doesn't quite have enough room. They're going to still be side by side on the exit. Buzzio slightly inching on top, coming out of the turn number 2, still side by side, getting a push from his teammate. Hopefully it'll be enough to dive into that inside on turn 3. He will clear him here, and it will hold.
Borbell now gets the drive up underneath Scott Fritz. Buzzio into second place. Borbell looking for third. 1 lap to go in stage number 1. Battles all across the racetrack, including for 10th place. Jamie Plord has that spot. Zachary Maddox makes the dive on the inside to get it. His brother is about to win the stage out front. There's Brendan. He's going to lead down here into turns 3 and 4. Adam Buzzio's got second. Fritz, Borbell, and Perkins, they battle. But here comes Brendan Maddox to win stage 1 at Nashville. There's the caution. It's going to be Zach Maddox ahead for the final spot in the stage. Wow, what a stage.
That was some very tight and clean racing there. Very enjoyable. Maddox brothers on both sides. breaking up that stage win and tail of the stage field.
Incredible opening stage here at Nashville Super Speedway. We had that one caution to just mix things up, give that pit strategy an opportunity to kind of take its foothold in this race. And Brendan Maddox comes out ahead with the stage win. It'll be Brendan Maddox, followed up by Adam Buzzio, then Scott Fritz and Caden Perkins, and Stephen Borbell, your top 5. Richard Wolsifer in the top 10. He finishes 6th in Stage 1. Coulter Clark 7th. Tyler Bentley 8th. Matthew Selby 9th. And Zachary Maddox. He has come alive in this car. Clearly much more comfortable in this race car than the next-gen car of old. And it'll be a 10th place effort for Zachary Maddox here in Stage 1. As everybody's checking up hard here at a turn 2. Oh my goodness, the pace car caught everybody off guard. They're all still racing in here.
If you don't mind me asking a question, just for strategy's sake, where did the 7-5 place out after the end of all this?
He just stayed on the lead lap. There he is, 28th position. He might be able to make a case to stay out here and go back to the front of the field, but the stage point loss is going to be big.
Absolutely. It was a gamble. It didn't work out this time, but it may have just very well set him up for the end of the race. I'm not sure how many fuel runs you might need here. Cautions will come and they will go. That'll definitely impact things for the future. But it may have been a winning move later in the race. We just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I definitely think all is not over for Johnny, although he has pitted, so he will stay towards the rear of the field. Although it might just be a gas and go, he might still be able to move up in the field. So here we go. Pit stops underway now. There's Caden Perkins down in his box. Let's see, Brendan Maddox, everybody else. There's Johnny Wood Jr. into his box. First off the pit lane will be Brendan Maddox, down and away quickly. And everybody else will follow. We'll bring in driver 23 in just a moment and talk with him as he wins the stage. And of course, go back to Whiplash SimCam's race details. Only one shorter stage. Only the one stage win possible here for these drivers. So it does go to Brendan Maddox in car 23. Let's bring in driver 23 after a big stage win here. The first, quote, real racetrack of the season, and Brendan Maddox wins the stage. Brendan, I wasn't sure the gamble was going to work out initially to give up that track position. Clearly it was the right move, but when did you know it would be the right move?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep, we got you now.
Right, I didn't hear anything if y'all said anything, so.
Was asking you when you knew that move would be the right move there in stage 1 to get the stage win.
I didn't. I thought Johnny was going to save fuel to the end, so I was comfortable with the second place. And about the lap they pit, I was saying to myself, well, surely he's not going to have the fuel to make it, and he didn't. So I just focused on gapping the guys behind me, and that was enough there. To be honest with you, it was just kind of running where I could and sticking with it. I thought if we pit right there and we don't get another caution, that's for sure going to be a good shot at winning the stage. But, then you got all these other cars to fight and everything in the meantime. So, it's never a surefire, hey, this is going to be what does it, Now
that you've had some real track time in this car at this racetrack, which one do you prefer, next gen or ARCA?
For many different reasons, I'm going to prefer the ARCA, but it's like a 51-49 split for me. I say many reasons, but it's still such a low split because I like the next gen so much.
Well, let's get back to it. That's Brendan Maddox with the stage 1 win, and he's going to lead the field right into the restart zone, just like that. Right into the restart zone. The field checks up a little bit. Dorsey goes low. We are back green now in stage number 2 here at Nashville Super Speedway. A big restart for car 23. Only the second restart, true restart of the night. We had the initial start, then the first restart there in stage 1. It's only our second actual restart here so far tonight. That's interesting. We don't usually have that be the case here in these races. Really good look for the field so far as that's crossed the line to finish the first green flag lap here in stage 2, and there's a challenge for the race lead. A Toyota, a Ford, a Chevrolet, all going for it.
Yeah, no more teammates here to help him out and talk things over. It's going to be racing from here on out, especially when you have Buzzio buzzing on the back door, looking high. He's been really good on the high side most of this day. He fought really hard to get to this point. He and Fritz here, they're going to come really, really hard for Brendan Maddox. So you're going to see if they can save some tires or get the lead early, and then work on strategy from there.
Buzzio and Fritz side by side. I think here early in the stage, this is a long stage, 125 laps. This could be a race in and of itself. I think you gotta sit back and kind of let it happen, right? If somebody gets to your inside, recognize they're probably faster, let them go. Save some tire, set up for the long run, as there's contact there between Buzzio and Fritz. There is no waiting right now at the front of the field.
Oh yeah, there's two different strategies. There's either go for it all or wait for someone to make a mistake. And this, Fritz right there, he was holding his line. Buzzio got him to a little bit. Both held on, so no caution here. Oh, another one in the wall.
Orbell just knocked the wall down on a turn 2. Here comes the 3 wide into the corner. Plord and Clank down low. Clank going to go for it all way down on the inside. Plord checks up. Clank goes up into 7th. Orbell down to 8th. Plord down to 9th. Here comes Zachary Maddox up top. Tyler Bentley. Josh Parent just outside the top 10.
Josh Parent's been sneakily quiet this afternoon. He's been there. He's been sneaking around. Maybe with this longer stage, he's taking what he's learned the first 50 laps. He's going to start to slowly come in here. And he's just slowly making his way up the field. He's doing a very good job tonight.
Nearly 4 wide there for a moment. Parent gets clear of it. He moves up into the 10th spot. Christian Barnes now 11th. There's Tyler Bentley, Jamie Plord, Coulter Clark, Carl Pooler. Orbell falling back again as there's a change for the race lead. Where did Scott Fritz come from? Hello.
Scott Fritz has finally gotten himself into the lead. He's got clean air, and let's see how far he'll run. This dude has been itching for his chance in the sun, and now he's got it. Taking already a 1/10 of a second lead here. Maddox is diving in turn 3 and 4, not quite getting back there, and now let's see how far he runs.
Let's see if there's a move here in turn 1. Otherwise, I want to get a replay here. Well, there's the move. For the race lead, Maddox fights back on Fritz. This is far from over between these two.
They're still running side by side, trading slide jobs. Here's comes the help from another Toyota there, pushing him deep into the inside. Still side by side, 3 and 4, hanging on his door, using as much air as possible to keep him slowed down, trying to get a run off the top. Not quite there. Here comes the Toyota help once again, pushing him. Oh, and there's contact, and they're spinning, wrecking in front of the field.
Scott Fritz, I don't know what just happened. Buzzio. I keep mixing the two. This is big. Carl Pooler's got a lot of damage. Jamie Plord's got a lot of damage. What in the world just happened? Tyler Bentley, I believe, has damage. Scott Fritz, of course, was the center of it. I thought we were safe. I thought he was leading the race. What in the world?
Was it a push gone wrong? I'd have to see it over again.
I'm wondering if Fritz thought he might have had Maddox cleared. Fritz is coming straight to the pit lane. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Buzzio won't be far behind. This is a big, big crash. Bentley to the pit lane. A lot of names taken out in this one. Scott Fritz, of course, is the front of it all. For sure, we were safe to take the onboards and look backwards, but something happened between these two. Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
Massive hits.
He thought it was just going to go lower. It wasn't malicious, but I thought as high as they're racing, he probably thought it was going to go all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah, this is... I don't know.
If Maddox was going to go to the apron like they had been doing, then that wasn't a bad line to take, but he clearly didn't, and it led to this accident.
See, Plord, Pooler, Bentley, I'll take some big hits. Coulter Clark lifts the 38 up in the air. Oh my goodness. From the drones, this could be a crazy, crazy angle. Selby just got by all of that. There you see the stack up. Oh my gosh.
Thankfully, these cars are all vertical because those would have been some really bad hits.
Yeah. And we're going to look at one of them for the 71 car of Carl Puller. Tyler Bentley's to his inside. Jamie Ford's just ahead. All three of them stack up here. And this is Puller's great season start, all completely derailed.
No one could have known that was coming. You were completely blind to that.
Another look at it here. Fritz, we're just expecting Maddox to be lower. Borbell, I keep saying Borbell, I'm sorry, Adam Buzzio, massive hit. See the right front dragging for Fritz after all of that. I did notice one very near miss for the 46 car, so we'll take a look at what is going to be so far today's lucky performance, lucky break of the day here. Watch this. Scott Fritz nearly clips his teammate Matthew Selby. It was very close. Get another look at it here. Selby was running in 5th. You'll see it start up ahead.
Wow. Razor thin margin.
And we'll come back to live picture here. The field is doubled up. It's ready to go back green flag racing. The outside lane being chosen by new race leader Caden Perkins. The 23, by the way, is still in the front of the field, so it's not been claimed by the 23, and no fault is in place on the 23 yet. We'll see if there's anything that changes there in post-race, but there's the restart. Back green here with 65 complete, 110 to go at Nashville. Through turns 3 and 4, Brendan Maddox side by side with his brother. Zachary up top, Brendan down low.
Still side by side entering 1 and 2. That American Airlines car is going to fall slightly behind his brother there, Brendan Maddox. Coming back up top, going to make it close into the wall slightly. Still side by side there, giving each other room. And after that accident, I feel like there's going to be a couple more breaks given. You can probably give a little bit more space. Still a long race to go. Got 110 plus laps, give or take, on this race. Still got to give everybody a little bit of room and time for each other out slightly. Coming back here on start finish.
Maddox brothers not giving up here. Zachary back down to the inside. This is cool. We don't usually have brothers heads up racing like this, but we have it here today at Nashville. This has been a long time coming to see Selby and Clink race ahead. They're side by side. Selby on the inside, Clink down low. There they go through turns 3 and 4. Walsifer got clear of this fight. And Zachary Maddox now gets clear of Brendan Maddox as they work down the front stretch here at Nashville Super Speedway. A new complexion out front. We've lost Stallings, we've lost Wood, we've lost Maddox, we've lost Fritz, all in some shape or form. I mean, Maddox is still up in the top 10. But I think he's a little bit shaken, I'd have to imagine, by that crash we just saw with Scott Fritz, and that's likely on his mind. I'm not saying he's done for the day or anything. He can get back up here and still win this race, but it's going to be hard to shake that off right away.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for sure. Any of our top picks might have reconsidered them, as you know, we have a whole new complexion to this race. Perkins now the leader. You have Clink, Selby, Brendan Maddox is coming up back there with his brother now, with Zachary Maddox coming up through the side. Joshua Parent's now come through slightly deeper into the top 10, now up to 8th place. So it's anybody's race now, and as we keep continuing, the night gets cooler and the sun goes down. the track's going to change a little bit. It's going to either get more slick or really, really stiff as, it gets more rubbered in as the day goes on.
Zachary Maddox moving forward. He's on the inside now of Matthew Selby, side by side here to turn number 1. Boy, what a race we've already had unfold. It has been full of unknowns, full of twists and turns. And by the way, Johnny Wood Jr., who I mentioned was out of it at one point, right? He was 28th after that pit stop in stage 1. He is now working on the top 10 here on the inside of Christian Barnes. It seems Johnny might have got a little bit of right rear damage in all of this, but he's now cracking the top 10.
Hey, one strategy call doesn't end the race. One strategy call doesn't make the race. He's back up here. He was very fast up there during that first stage. Just, fueling didn't work out. And he's going to make a really big push here, especially as, we're only in the middle half. We're going to see him make a couple of moves, try to get back up to the front. And if he can get back in this top 3, top 4, you can definitely see him make a chance for a win here.
Meanwhile, front of the field here is Richard Walsifer, right on the back bumper of Caden Perkins. This is the front, very front of the field. And look at that, they both grabbed the wall. It looks like some sparks. Here comes Clank down low. Kyle Clank. We don't know much about this guy. He's running a stock iRacing paint scheme. That's what we do know. It's just a blue fade. Can barely see the number on that thing. He keeps it simple over there at Synergy Racing Group, but he is starting to really show what he's made of here. The visual number on the race car that got swapped around this week, that'll be fixed at Richmond next week, but man, Kyle Clank is coming alive here in race number 2 of this season.
Yeah, Kyle Clank has done a really good job here, and as these cars get tighter with the the change of the racetrack coming in, he seems to be one of the few people who's still holding a really nice, consistent, low-level line. And that's what's really helping him here, early in this second stage. He's really making a move here, and as he makes these moves, it's not moving around too much. He's actually very steady, like right there, really holding that line, staying down there. Makes a really good exit off the corner, which keeps him side by side, gives him a chance in these corners.
Fordall choosing the top side to try and go by Clank here in turns 3 and 4. He's going to follow Maddox on the outside, both Maddoxes. And here we go. This time by, we will have 100 laps to go. Caden Perkins leads here at Nashville. You'll have to excuse me. We're going to delay the best in show vote by 25 laps. I missed it. There was so much going on earlier at the end of stage 1. With Johnny Wood Jr. and everything, I missed it, so it got extended, but I can say that vote is now final, and nothing changed. Tim Henderson will stay at the top of the board, and he wins today's Best in Show vote by a pretty solid margin over Caden Perkins. Caution, though, is out for the 28 car and the 81. Uh-oh. That's Evan Patinko around in turns 3 and 4. Ethan Johnson, the other driver involved here. This was right around Jourdain White, Jason Bottoms, Tim Henderson, and even Dustin Stallings. Here they go, 3 wide on the backstretch. Evans in the middle. And Evan tried to enter a little higher. I don't know that Ethan got the memo, and they made contact.
A lot of misjudging of these corner entries and exits, unfortunately, here today. But it's a new car. These cars do tend to get very tight, especially when they're running in traffic. And, like I said earlier, temperature's changing, track conditions are changing. And some cars are going to be slightly tighter than others, especially after some of these cars have had some damage or had some very near misses. And if you're tight going into a corner, you're under somebody, you need to know that you might have to turn that a little bit sooner so you can give them room coming down pit road.
So another caution here at Nashville, and right to the box goes race leader Caden Perkins. So far, he is looking very good here tonight. Selby down the pit lane, but Perkins will win the race off. And there they go. It's a split decision around the field. Jourdain White will stay out.
Quite a few gas and goes. Some people taking 4 tires with it being nearish to the halfway point. So not a bad strategy call for some. We'll see how it plays out for others, but everybody definitely most certainly topped off on field for those who went in. You got these two who stayed out. See how that plays out for them on this upcoming restart. Not quite sure that tires will be a huge factor just yet.
Henderson's going to go backwards. He's 2 laps down. Was hoping to get a wave around here, but Jordan White will prevent that as he stays out under this yellow. The Jamaican sensation, the Jourdain train, will stay out to the front of the field and lead us back to the green. It's an interesting choice. I don't know that it's going to pan out too well for him, honestly. But you can't beat the guys ahead of you by doing the exact same thing as them. You'll just follow on their tire tracks, so it's worth trying something here. Caden Perkins will line up second. It'll be Matthew Selby third, then Braxton Skinner and others. Dakota Bly comes in the second time around for some extra fuel. And it looks like he'll be one of the only takers to do so. By the way, Dustin Stallings, of course, he's been trying to get back in this race, or at least get positions back. He is now up to 29th. He has passed Zach Brandvold, Tyler Bentley, Scott Fritz, Jamie Plord, Carl Pooler, and Adam Buzzio. So far, that attrition is paying off for the 00. He's up several spots since his initial crash. And that's the kind of thing we want to see. That's the kind of thing a champion needs to do. Got to stay in these races, get all the points you can, because that could be a difference maker later on in the season. But here we go. This is going to be a very interesting restart. Again, old tires on the 83 car. This, we'll see. I'm a little nervous, admittedly, here, Devin. I don't know what to expect out of the 83 car on this restart.
I'm in the same boat with you, man.
So here we go. Out of turn 4, Jourdain White going to lead us back to the green. Caden Perkins on his outside. A lot of 2 tires out front, a lot of fuel only out front. Some 4 tires mixed in. The first car on tires is the 56. Richard Waltz-Over, green flag once again here at Nashville. Side by side, maybe 3 wide. Selby falls back in front of Skinner. Here comes Johnny Wood down low. Johnny Wood Jr. at one point seemed like he was going to be in the back of the field for a while. He has played this one nicely to his favor. He's 4th.
Yeah, props to Johnny Wood Jr. making this huge comeback. It's still early in the race, almost to the halfway point, but he's definitely made that strategy call pay off. You know, everybody's
Whoa, Josh Barrett.
Rack in turn 1 and 2.
The 22 car, the 25, his teammate, both involved. I saw the 28 of Ethan Johnson involved, and it looks like perhaps Christian Barnes as well, maybe, as Jourdain White will hang on to the race lead. But there is Josh Parent's machine. It's definitely got some damage. And his teammate, Cameron Carden, mentioned he was involved in this. There's Carden's machine. He's also got some damage. Let's go back here. Turns 1 and 2. Watts the 22 car into the corner. Brendan Maddox just behind. Oh, Christian Barnes had a problem. Maddox gets a big piece of that. Look at that stock Harrow hard in the wall. That's going to be his day done.
Looks like just a big checkup there with perfectly staggered cars, so just blocks the whole track. It's been tearing around.
This is right in front of guys like Robert Moyer, Magnus Anderson, Jason Bottoms. So Christian Barnes is that 27 car outside lane. He's following his teammate Anthony DeSeo into the corner. And Barnes just gets loose, I think. Oh, he got hard on the brakes for his teammate, actually. That got him sideways, and Parent had nowhere to go. Bottoms ran right in the back of Carden, but it was a big hit for Parent, for Johnson, and for Stockero on the outside of the racetrack. Taking a look at this. Oh, wow. On board now with Joshua Parent. They just stack up on his nose, and Brendan was there on his back bumper. That's going to be a lot of damage for Josh.
In
One more
terms of
look.
strategy, though, this does play well for our leader because now all the tires have been cycled. You heated them up, cooled them down, and they should be about even at this point.
Well, and I noticed it after the fact. Once they got running green, a handful of cars did take no tires with him. So he stayed out, of course, but took no fuel. Perkins right behind took no tires. Selby took no tires. The first car on 2 tires is Johnny Wood in 4th. The first car on 4 is Richard Wolsifer in 5th. We'll see how it pays off. We could go for a quick interview here, maybe with Johnny Wood, perhaps. Let's do it. Because I'm curious how the tires looked and what prompted him to take 2 as opposed to none or 4. Now that seems to be kind of the meta, either no tires, only fuel, or 4 tires and full fuel. In this case, Johnny, you've taken 2 tires, it looks like. Why the choice for 2?
I practiced it in the race last night, and it worked out pretty good. It frees the car up a little bit for about 7 laps, and it tightens up. But track position is, I was riding around in the back earlier, and I realized that I needed track position. It was god awful back there with the dirty air, so we're gonna try something different.
And of course, there's some no tires around you, some 4 tires behind you. Is there a big speed difference? How's the tire wear?
It doesn't drop too bad. I think 25 laps it drops a half a second, which ain't crazy. I was testing yesterday, and I'm fairly decent at tire saving compared to my teammates, so we'll see.
So it sounds like a pretty hard compound for these tires?
Yeah, kinda.
Oh, well, there we go. Some jackrabbit on the restart. We'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
That's Johnny Wood Jr. coming to the restart zone. He's going to restart 4th. Jourdain White back on the loud pedal. We're racing again here at Nashville Superspeedway. We're right around halfway. This time by, we'll complete 85 and have 90 to go. Jourdain White, the Jamaican sensation, leading the Jourdain train choo-choo through turns 3 and 4.
Jourdain leading this race here, and with that helpful insight from Johnny Wood Jr., it definitely explains why he's able to hold this race lead so far. The tires matter a little bit, but not nearly as much as we thought that they would. These guys are holding it off really well with 2 to 4 tires, and you would see with as good as some people are with tire savings, the better guys out there when it comes to tire savings, they can hold a race lead or a position with just 2 to 4 no tires at all. So we might see this really play out for people like Perkins, Johnny Wood Jr., and Selby, that they keep up with some of these good tire strategy calls coming later in this race, especially if we go green much longer.
On board with Richard Wolsifer, he falls down into 5th spot. Cameron Gilmore, fastest on the racetrack. He runs in 9th back here with guys like Anthony Teseo and Brendan Maddox right behind him. Gilmore's about to have a whole lot of tough battling ahead, though. He's got Kyle Clank out the windshield. He's got Stephen Borba out the windshield. Richard Wolsifer, Zachary Maddox. He's up with the best in the field all of a sudden. It's going to get harder and harder to keep passing cars.
Yeah, that's for sure. These cars have all been roughly the same lap times all night long, and these fast lap times are sure helpful, but you got to somehow find a way to pass these cars in 1 to 2 laps tops, or you bottom yourself down in all these battles and someone might come passing you. Just as you saw right there, that 5 car is dropping back. He's 31, yet Clank. He fell back because he was battling the car so long that you get run on the top side with all the momentum, these cars drafting one another on these straights.
There you see Wolsifer and Maddox side by side. Zachary Maddox will win the fight. Zachary, he messaged me last week because actually there's a change for the race lead. Jourdain White and Caden Perkins side by side there for a moment. White gets the spot back away. Perkins and Wood battle into turn 3. Johnny Wood jockeys to the inside, sends it underneath that Toyota. They're side by side through 3 and 4. This battle for the lead is not over.
No, it's going to be a 3-way battle for this lead here because Johnny Wood Jr. is going to be coming in real hot. Him saving tires on 2. Perkins on none, White on none. And it's going to be a matter of air blocking and who gets by first, because whoever gets by next is going to have the best shot on passing Jourdain White here.
Pass complete. Repass, if you will, complete by Caden Perkins. He'll hang on to that second spot. And here comes the 75, back into turn one. He's now got Selby up underneath him as Maddox gets bodied out of the way by Wolsifer. These guys are getting racy here as these laps wind down. We've just crossed past halfway. They are starting to get to racing a whole lot harder. Wolsifer in the back end of Selby. They catch it. More contact. Borbell knocks the 14 up. And Zachary Maddox from 5th now to 9th, maybe 10th in the matter of a couple of corners.
Yes, this is where you're going to see these tires matter the most. And, you know, I already said that, you know, these tires don't matter too much in terms of speed, but they do matter in terms of handling. If you have really, really worn down tires, you can't enter a corner, you know, nearly as gung-ho and send it down to the bottom. So it leads to some of these checkups here. So as you saw with, you know, Wood Jr., Selby, Perkins, you know, they would catch one another, and then if they were side by side, the person behind them would check up. Now it's sending them into the battle with everyone behind them, and that's why you see them fall back here with Maddox.
The Maddox brothers racing for 9th and 10th. The Meatball teammates racing for 11th and 12th. While the other one, Johnny Wood, oh, here we go for the race lead. We've been watching this back here, the lead. Look at this, 3 wide. Caden Perkins outside, Johnny Wood Jr. middle, Jordan White bottom. The racing does not stop. It's all over the place. Perkins is going to lead. We'll get a replay of that. We'll see how that's set up.
Yes, please.
Jordan White falling back. Give it 1 second here. Just want to make sure he hangs on. Let's go back and see how that got set up. So Jordan White, this is a lap and a half, almost 2 laps ago now. He ran the outside through 3 and 4. That opens the door for Caden Perkins down low. Here comes Johnny Wood to make it 3. This is 3 all the way through 1 and 2. Johnny Wood down low. He took the lead away for a moment. Oh my gosh. Caden Perkins, I don't know how he got back around the outside of the 75 car. He goes back to the outside here, commands the outside lane through 3 and 4, and gets the lead back away, but now they're racing live. I mean, this is, we can't even catch up. Hang on. This is Caden Perkins now racing with Johnny Wood Jr. This just happened as we were looking at the replay. This is down in 3 and 4. At that point, I think Caden realized Johnny's got the tires.
Yeah, these are just beautiful crossovers. This is like classic racing you'd love to see out here, because when you get these crossovers done back and forth, it leads to some beautiful battles, and sometimes right here brings them right back to the pack. Got a battle here for second place right here with Wolsifer and Perkins.
There's a lot going on, a lot more than we used to have in the next gen cars. So far, I think this experiment in this car is successful. This is a lot harder to try and cover all of the action across at least just the top 10 than it was in the next gen car here. This is really good stuff. Caden Perkins in the walls, side by side behind him, as well as Johnny Wood Jr. now starts to drive away. He's driven back to the front of the field. And look at this. He brings his teammate, Richard Wolsifer. So 6-5 Motorsports, while Jay Plord, their teammate, is out of the race, they are having a fantastic time. 1-2 out front.
Yeah, these cars have done a much better job than next gen, and I think what it really comes down to, it has much better momentum entering these corners. You're able to send it, it's actually going to stick better. You have to make these crossover passes, you have good runoff, and the speed is very comparable, so it's just a matter of like skill, you know, waiting for your turn. Everyone's going to get a turn to pass everybody here. Like, you're not going to be left hanging dry, you're not going to get run away from, you can't be air blocked forever. And we're still seeing another pass right here, that runoff of turn 4 for second place as Perkins gets under Wolsifer, trying to make another stab at it, take second away from him.
Rather, this is third. Selby underneath Perkins. And Wolsifer is trying to chase down his teammate, Johnny Wood Jr. You see Josh Parent in the foreground. He is about to go 1 lap down with damage. And there we go. He will go 1 lap down right in front of this entire field. This is going to be sketchy on the front stretch. And Wolsifer trying to clear up in front of the 22. The 22 was still there. Now Perkins gets stuck behind the 22. Guys, he's still there. He's not going to disappear. That was chaotic. It's still chaotic. Christian Barnes now gets trapped behind Parent. Oh my goodness. They're
Bears do the
so
best he
close.
can. It is very tight racing. These runs are coming from everywhere now that's getting later in the day. These tires are now playing a factor with all these different strategies. You have so many battles everywhere. I can't really pick one.
I'm trying to pick one. Look at that, Perkins sideways through 1 and 2. He's going to fall back. He's led a bunch of laps that he possibly, well, maybe not the most. He's led a bunch. 19 laps out front for the 19 car. But he's been a lot of fun to watch today as Coulter Clark, his teammate, dips to the inside here of Anthony Teseo. Magnus Anderson nearly in the top 10. Magnus is 11th, working on 10th there. And there's Johnny Wood Jr. leading the way over his teammate Richard Wolsifer. Kyle Klenk from Synergy Racing Group leading the way for that team. He's 3rd, Stephen Wardall 4th, Matthew Selby 5th. What an insane race. I mean, this has been a lot more heads up through the entirety of the field than ever before in this series.
What I'm going to credit this car in doing as well is that I haven't seen a lead more than 3/10 outside of that one stretch during that big strategy call that Johnny Wood Jr. made in that first stage. These cars have stayed really, really close together. Like, no one's really gotten away from anyone, and it's provided for some great racing, some of great eventual battles, as you see right here. Maddox is back racing for 4th, 5th place. Trying to make that pass to Selby, but Selby gets it back coming out of turn 4.
Zachary Maddox slow in the 14. He's checking up down low through the grass here in the 14 car. So problems for the other Maddox as he's going to go front to back pretty quickly. We'll take a look at what just happened to the American Airlines Flight 14. Was racing with Jordan White actually. Jordan is now 7th. Maddox is now 17th. And Maddox just got loose.
I believe we're reaching this point of the night where, with the track getting cooler, with, the sun
Caution,
dropping,
Brendan
light
Maddox.
coming on.
Let's cut straight back to it. There's Brendan Maddox. Caution is out. Matthew Selby, Cameron Gilmore involved. There's Gilmore. Selby's down low. Lewis is slow. Bottoms is slow. Was trying to get to a pit stop here. There's going to be a lot to unpack. So first, this is the back end of the incident with Zach Maddox. Here comes Jordan White. He's going to pit. So he's going to hit the pit lane. Here he comes. And then the 23 of Brendan Maddox. He goes around with Matthew Selby. And this is, wow, Christian Barnes destroyed. Cameron Gilmore, a big hit. This is now the second car from the same team, Full Tilt Sim Sports, that Brendan Maddox has had contact with today. First it was Scott Fritz in that incident we saw. Now it's Matthew Selby. Selby just cleared himself.
That was either a block or a clearing yourself. Because I was going to bring up that with the temps dropping and these tires fading, that now be a great time for pit stops, and you saw right there with Jordan coming down. But there goes the strategy call.
Yeah, this is 100% on the 46 car. I'll slow it down here. Maddox gets down low, and Selby just drives down across his nose. 100% on that Chevrolet, and he comes back up, skidding across the racetrack, locked up. There's Gilmore. There's Barnes. Magnus Anderson got a hit. How does the 17 get in this? Jason Bottoms, he's slow. Cole Lewis checked up. That's how Jason Bottoms gets a hit. We talked to him in pre-race. Jason Bottoms fan club, I'm not sure if you were here for pre-race, but we talked to him before the green flag today. Here's a look at it. Jason did a great job of checking up, and then Cole just locks up the rears and brings that car around. Nothing too crazy. But that's the least of the worries across the field in this kind of incident. I mean, so many cars took big hits up front.
Yeah, this wreck almost feels like Dover. It feels like the moment one car spins, the track clears itself going up the hill, and it takes out almost everyone.
That's Cameron Gilmore's on board. Brendan Maddox was extremely lucky not to be clobbered by anybody else coming through there. we'll get one more look at it. This will be Christian Barnes on board car 27. He takes a big hit. He's right behind Gilmore. He just never lifted.
I don't think there's anywhere for him to go, unfortunately. Like, that's like the part of the corner where you're already going up anyway. You turn any harder to the right, you're hitting the wall. Turning harder to the left, you're caught in the accident. You're stuck with whatever hand you're given at that point.
Boy, this race is definitely changed in the last few minutes, as there's a lane choice there from Richard Wolsifer. His teammate Johnny Wood Jr. will go down low. Wolsifer goes high. Well, in case you're wondering what's coming up for us here at Pit Stop TV, here's a look at it. Next up, Thursday evening, we've got some more Nashville action from Nashville Super Speedway to Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway with the Sim Auto Racing Association Impel Motorsports National Tour Super Late Models at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for 300 laps on Thursday evening. Then we check in down under. We go to Australia with the Mount Panorama Circuit and the Gen 3 Supercars for the Major Series in their next round. That'll be 11 of 12 for their championship here in 2025. And next week, you see we head out to Richmond Raceway here with the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Another restart coming up for the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Checkups down low. They're trying to get the right spot, but we go back green. Wolsifer at the helm. And that crash has thinned the herd a bit. Maddox is down the order. Multiple cars out of the race now. We're down to 24 competitive cars that are on the lead lap or one lap down. And now Borbell's third. Skinner is fourth. Klenk is fifth. Things have changed.
Things have changed drastically. I'm going to have to make a new pick for who might win this race. And we're looking at probably a new teammate duo leading this thing, trying to keep their noses clean and stay out of everybody's hair. You have Wolsifer and Johnny Wood Jr. out here leading 1-2, and they're probably going to do is everything they can to stay out of this mess. There's now 2 by 2, almost 3 wide back here. For what spot is this? Help me out. I'm sorry.
This is 8th, 9th, 10th. Right back here, back out of the top 10. Zachary Maddox, Anthony Teseo, and Brendan Maddox. Robert Moyer is just behind. Braxton Skinner, Caden Perkins, they swap spots ahead. That's for 5th position between those two teammates. But you know, I'm glad you mentioned the teammate aspect here in the top 2, because we expected, I think, 2 completely different teammates to be at the front of the field. Those being Dustin Stallings, Brendan Maddox. At the top of the show, before this race started, before qualifying even. Caution, big crash. Zachary Maddox, Anthony DeSeo, Cole Lewis. And it looks like Jordan White is slow to pull away as well. His car looks clean. I can't say the same for these guys. DeSeo's got a lot of damage. Lewis has some. Maddox has some. Oh boy. My point was just to make that we expected Maddox and Stallings out front. It has completely changed as Patinko checked up a little bit there, and Teseo just sailed it off into the 14 car. Gray Walker in the back of him. Jordan White comes spinning through there. Oh boy. Patinko was just a little bit slower than I think they expected, and Teseo just right in the back of the 14. Wow, that's a big hit.
I think it's a good time to, sit down in this caution, reassess, pace yourself. Still got over 60 laps to go. You got a pit stop to go at least, right? You got to take some inventory on how much do you really need that spot this instant, and give everybody a little bit of space and realize that everybody's on different tires now. These strategies have drastically diversified, and they're going to be different speeds with some of them having damage, some of them being clean cars still, and it's going to be hard to pass people as clean as you used to. You got to take it with a little bit of patience.
Patience is key. There's Gray Walker's 18 car. He's going to be out of this race for a while, if not the rest of the day. That 15 went sky high in this hit. Man, if that was a real car, that's a back injury, I'm going to say. Like that's a really big hit, not only to the rear, but then when it slams back down. This is one that I'm thankful is a virtual crash. This right there, up, boom, straight back down. I'm not really sure how Jourdain got spun around, but we'll check it out here for the 83 car. He's back here with Cameron Carden.
I think he just locked it down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
he locked it down.
You know what? Let's ride on board. Let's put one in the bank for the lucky break of the day. Lucky performance, lucky break of the day. Check up real hard, slide to a stop like that, and not get hit. That's lucky. And he kept it rolling.
Never hurt.
Didn't stall it. It's a bonus. And we are all over the place now. Everybody trying to catch back up. We've seen some pit stops here. Not many out of this yellow. Braxton Skinner's kind of the first one, and he's back in 11th, maybe 12th. Tim Henderson's back on the lead lap. He'll restart 11th place. Let's see. It's going to be Skinner, Henderson, Bottoms, Clark, White, Perkins, Bly, Lewis, and others that pit under this caution. The field is definitely thinning. We've seen a couple of really big incidents now. We are starting to knock them down one by one. But here we go. Back around to the restart zone. About 60 laps to go. Call it 61. And we're going to send them back green here. Nashville Super Speedway lights back up in green. We're racing again here in the Scooty Loo 175. Three wide off of turn two. Maddox up top. Klenk in the middle. Patinko down low. They sort it out now. Patinko falls back. There's Robert Moyer in the top 10. Magnus Anderson in the top 10. Cameron Carden in the top 10. Cody Dorsey's in the top 10. How about that?
Everybody's getting their chance to get top 10 today at this point. Lots of new names, lots of different faces. Still battling here side by side. Almost four wide there for a second. Still 2x2 with Dorsey and Skinner.
Magnus Anderson on the inside of Robert Moyer Jr. down to turn number 3. They run side by side. This is for the 7th spot. A couple of guys we have not seen up here yet. Right behind another one we haven't seen up here yet, Evan Patinko. Good to see the field mixing around a little bit, but man, a lot of names we did not expect earlier today to be in these kinds of positions. Here's your top 5. These have been 5 really good drivers, though. Wolsifer, Wood, Borbell, Maddox, and Klenk have been up front a lot today. And here they are, inside of 60 to go, all with a chance to win.
And I gotta give it to Maddox real quick. He's been in quite a few accidents, some of not of his own making. And he still has a really fast car out here. He's already back up front. He's top 5 still.
Caution.
And he might still have a shot. Oh.
Waylon Nelson around, Matthew Selby around. And this is another installment on what is turning out to be a rough day here at Nashville. Had a great start, a lot of green flag racing early. As this race goes on, as time starts to run out. Remember, this is a 2-hour time limit. I mean, I think we're still good for now, but this could get out of hand to where we end up hitting the time limit still. Like, we are not out of the woods by any means. Here's Waylon Nelson on the outside. That's the 91 car. Matthew Selby down low in the 46 car. Let's see what happens here. Selby comes up. Nelson just gets him in the right rear. Didn't give him enough room. Jourdain White gets a big piece of it.
I think he was clear. Then he didn't commit to it, and they got to run off the quarter, and they met in the middle.
Boy. Let's see this from the 91's perspective. Selby's got him clear there. And he just kind of hooks him around.
You saw a very small bobble there, and just kept coming off that corner, went to stay in the gas, made a chance to, reestablish on the outside and cause the incident.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think any situation there, when a car is that clear of you, probably go ahead and lift. Let them slide up. I don't know. I don't personally see the benefit to have stayed in the throttle like that. Of course, we see the result. It's a crash. So I don't personally see the benefit, but we see Jourdain White gets a piece. That's his first, I think, contact of the day. Wolsifer will stay out, and we're starting to see these guys conserve their tire sets. We saw them use them pretty liberally earlier in the day. Well, at first they were very conservative, and then they used them a little more liberally through the middle of the race. I think expecting green flag running and to be spacing these pit stops out, but now we're starting to see strategy boxes open back up. A lot more cautions, a lot more chances to pit, a lot more decisions to be made. Savings. A lot more fuel saving as well, yes.
And if, unfortunately, they keep falling, it's going to be like with the race at the time. Do you have time to go down, get fuel, and then stretch out a tire run?
And do you maybe pit a little before the pit window? Not only to save, but maybe expecting this race to be cut short a little bit. Do you pit before that fuel window actually hits to try and gamble on the race being shortened? It's kind of like when you have rain approaching and you know it's going to hit at a certain time. You're playing to that time now, and you don't know how many laps you're going to get in by that point. Of course, everybody then is getting a little bit crazy racing to the time, so it's probably most similar to that. When you hear that come up in a NASCAR race, I think that's the most similar comparison.
I can agree on that front. Looking at some trends real quick, though, Nashville has not been favorable to the yellow either. The first race had 8 cautions, then it went to 16, then to 18. And with how things have been going, we're well on our way to getting close to that 18 mark as well. 8 cautions already.
I don't think we're going to hit 18. We got a lot of laps in green earlier, but we are definitely starting to stack them up at this point. We also have had those 8 lead changes. We've shared the lead around a good bit, and it's going to be hard to discern exactly who should get the nod for the Driver of the Day nominations. Of course, we'll each have 2. So time to start thinking about those as everybody gets into line here. It'll be Johnny Wood Jr. on the outside of Richard Wolsifer. Wolsifer's got the lead. Wood is in second. Then Borbell, Maddox, Klenk, Anderson, Patinko, Moyer, and then I believe Dorsey and Carden, your top 10. Here we go. Restart zone one more time. Coming down to 50 laps to go, nearly green flag is back out, and it's a big restart for the outside lane. Wolsifer goes nowhere. Maddox around the outside of Wolsifer. The 56 just missed the restart entirely, which is rare. He was the leader. He got to choose when he launched. We never see the leader miss a restart like that.
Yeah, I don't think that went according to plan at all. These teammates have been nailing these team restarts so far. I think that's just to spin the tires, or maybe he was trying to let the teammate in on purpose, and it didn't quite work out. Now he's back to third. Brendan Max is back up to second. He's going to come up here with a vengeance. He wants that lead back. He's worked really hard to get it. He qualified really well, and he wants to be back where he belongs, and that's up front.
Here comes Wolsifer back to the inside of Maddox, side by side through 3 and 4. This battle far from over. Wolsifer up into the 23 car. They save it. They keep racing. One car low. That's Coulter Clark. Borbell now to the inside of Richard Wolsifer. Pass made by car number 2 nearly. It's not over. Caution is out. Where is it at? It's going to be Zachary Maddox. Oh, dear. Joshua Parent involved, it seems. And Maddox is going to be done for the day, and this sucks. This really does. Earlier in the race, a caution interrupted me, or a battle or something interrupted me. I was trying to say, Zach was distraught after Daytona a week ago, and I made a point in the league Discord to kind of say, hey guys, let this go. It's a restrictor plate race. It's a super speedway race. Let it go. Save that negative energy. Don't even save it. Get rid of that negative energy. Don't display it. Stay positive. It's the first race of the season. Let that negative stuff go. And Zach reached out to me, just kind of thanking me for that perspective, and I think saying it helped him a little bit. Well, unfortunately, a really good day has gone wrong. Jason Bottoms just popped off the wall. Dustin Stallings takes another big hit. But this has been a career day for Zach Maddox, and if there's anything I want him to take away, it would be, this is the strongest he has ever been that I've seen in this kind of modern era, if you will, of the BRB Racing League. He was really competitive when we came on board, and then a bunch of drivers entered, and it made it way more competitive. The whole series got more competitive. A bunch of drivers entered for Season 3. It got tougher to stay up front. And I know Zach struggled a little bit with that next-gen car. But Zach Maddox, I know this is... I can already see the YouTube comments. I know this sucks right here. But hang your hat high. You ran up front, top 5, on straight-up pace. Fortunately, yes, he gets cleaned out there by Jason Bottoms, but... man, there's so much if you're driver 14 to be happy with from today. I know this is a hard thing to see through. You and I have both been there, I think, Devin. I think that's fair to say. We've both been there in our own races, but man, looking at it from an outside perspective, there is so much to be happy with that 14 car. To go, honestly, I'm not going to mince words here, to go from running about 25th, 30th, to running in the top 5, on a track like Nashville, that is huge. So clearly something is working. Clearly he's got the ability. He just needs it to come together, and sometimes it's not going to happen. Sometimes it's not your day. So, again, if there's anything I can say to Zach Maddox and others out here that have had that kind of day, don't give up. Stay in it. One of these days, it's going to turn around. Carl Pooler is a great example of that, too. A lot of bad luck, but one of these days, it's going to turn around.
If I could speak to Zach Maddox real quick, is that I saw a lot of myself in how he was driving today. I'm not one to really qualify fast. I'm not always the best at tracks. And I'll have days like that where I'll qualify 23rd or something like that. And it's just like a really bad start to it. But you learned, and he showed so much skill coming up the race, racing his brother up front. We got that stage point there at the end. And he was super fast. He earned his way to the front of that racetrack. And if the cars just fall a little differently, he's still up here, racing top 5 with his brother right here for potentially a win. And it will come at like the most least expected track. It'll probably be your worst track too. And you will just nail it that day. And it'll be the sweetest feeling when it does happen.
Some pit stops. The back end of the top 10. Braxton Skinner takes service. He gets back on the racetrack at about the 11th spot. Jordan White, everybody else takes service as well. Skinner, it looks like there was fuel only. Same for Clark. White seems to have taken fuel only. Cody Dorsey, first car on 4 tires. Some more fuel only, and then kind of a mix-up of guys taking damage repairs. So it's a lot of old tires throughout the field for this restart. I think these guys are trying to get to their next fuel window to make one more stop to the end of this race. Restart zone coming up one more time. Inside of 50 to go, Johnny Wood Jr., Brendan Maddox, restart, back green year at Nashville Superspeedway. Maddox clear for position number 2. Never mind! He gets turned around. He saves it, but got turned around by the Wolsifer machine. And everybody scatters into turn 3. Brennan Maddox continues on. Cameron Carden loses a nose. He's done. He can't turn. He's in the wall. Caden Perkins in there as well. Caution's out. Cameron Carden comes to a skidding halt. Oh my gosh.
don't know what to say.
Another Whiplash racing car bites the dust. Joshua Parent, by the way, still in the lead lap. There's a lot of damage. The rest of the team has been doing really good. Of course, it's kind of our house team here at the channel. But, man, what happens here? Cameron Carden hooked by the 33. Braxton Skinner just straight in the wall. And Carden couldn't turn. Caden Perkins ran right in the back of him. Nothing Cameron could have done there. This is Braxton Skinner's POV. I want to watch it before I say too much.
Could have lifted there. It's like that other accident earlier where instead that like you're clear, but you know you don't want to give it to him. We haven't run more than 2 green flag laps in a minute. This is where you back off and like just wait for the next corner. Like we were talking earlier, you get such big runs in this car now. Like, you're going to get another chance at it. It's not an immediate need to go get this. You're clear the guy behind you. It wasn't going to hurt you to let it go this one time. And it's going to cost everybody in the long run.
I couldn't have said it much better myself. You have to cut people brakes. And I think that's... I don't want to talk too much, negatively, because this was a really positive race at one point. But with that kind of thing, you just got to cut some guys' brakes. You just got to be courteous to those around you. We haven't seen much of that. We saw it early in the race, I think, and we had a good set of green flag runs, but I think that's been forgotten as time has kind of worn down, and now I don't know that we're getting all the laps in. We still have over 40. Yeah, it really has been. We still have over 40 to go. And we're at 10:40 p.m., 10:39 p.m. We have until about 11:10. Roughly. So we have about a half an hour. If this pace continues, we will not get all the laps in, I don't think. If we can get back green for a little while, we can still do it. But guys, you've got to cut people brakes. I mean, Cameron had Braxton clear. Just looked out of the throttle. 90, 80% of gas. Like,
We have maybe 3 cautions to get, based on how these pace laps go, before we're going to start eating into those bottom laps.
I know one place these guys will have to cut each other some brakes. It'll be Richmond next week. You just got to be easy. I know it's a short track, and I think we're going to see a lot more of this really hard racing next week. But if I can offer any bit of advice to the field, it's race 3. There's 200 laps to get it done next week. You don't have to get it done, honestly, until those final 30, 25. Let the race come to you. That's all I could really say. We had such a good race going this evening. It's kind of taken a detour. We have Richmond coming up. It's definitely going to be an interesting couple of weeks here, weeks 2 and 3. Then a road course to shake things up in week 4. Let's see how it goes. We've got just a little over 40 laps to go. Front of the field, Johnny Wood Jr., Richard Wolsifer, and some others. Magnus Anderson up here. Stephen Borbell, Kyle Klink, Evan Patinko, green flag back in the air. Down the back straightaway, Kyle Klink gets clear over Tim Henderson. This is for 6th. Coulter Clark is there. Henderson dives. Very close racing there. Henderson up the racetrack. Clark down low. Check up.
3 wide for a second. The thought better of it. Back to single file race. To go up 2x2 there in the back. I know Junior's finally got himself a decent lead. Gonna see if we can get a little bit of racing going between him and Wolsifer. Orbel's Nick still making a good run for himself, trying to ease back into his rhythm here. And that's gonna really be what defines whether or not we can see more of these battles. Is getting into that rhythm, finding like where you can get in, where you fit in. You know, who has better entry, who has better exit, and that'll determine who will have some of these passes later in this race.
Let's go on board here with Richard Wolsifer running second place to his teammate. Again, I go back to expecting two very different teammates to be out front. Instead of Stallings and Maddox, we have Wood and Wolsifer. That's okay. Change things up a little bit. It's just not what we expected at all from this race. Orbel up here as well. Boy, things have changed. Patinko and Henderson run side by side. This is down to turn one. Evan Patinko has been a great surprise today to be at the front end of the field in these last, I'd say, 30 or so laps. It all comes down to track position, positioning yourself late in this race. And he's still learning the car. He's been very open about the fact that he had very few laps in this car to get the season started. He's still learning it. In fact, earlier today, had no laps in it, and he's been crashed.
Gotta give each other that room, that grace. They were door to door, side to side. Probably couldn't put a playing car between them. That's how tight they were racing. Just going in side by side right there.
Yeah, Patinko racing hard with Clark.
Tight.
Maddox got the wall too. I think we missed that the first time. This is a little more driver mistake and a little less, you know, I don't know. Let's get the 54. This is Patinko. Here's Clark.
As they get tight there, and then tight turn loose, and up the track you go. And that's what I was saying earlier in this race about this whole side traffic thing. Like, you got to know when to use it, how to control it. Because when you're racing side by side like this, especially on the corner exit, you can go from loose to tight in an instant. And it slides up the track, takes out your competitor, and can wreck anyone behind you.
The wall contact there for Brendan Maddox trying to avoid it. Well, this shakes things up. Thankfully, it was mostly just kind of spin around and save it stuff there between the 54 and 81. It definitely could have been a lot worse. Let's dial up a driver out there. I don't know who just yet. Hey, that's good.
What about Junior's teammate?
Well, I want to say that's good word just now in the YouTube chat from Zach King. 23 minutes to go, roughly. Oh boy. Let's see. That's going to be 1 to green. I want to switch up teams really quick, but I'm trying to... You know what? I know exactly who we're going to hit. We're going to hit a fellow broadcaster who is now 13th. We're going to dial him up. It's going to be the one, the only, Robert Moyer Jr. Robert, you are sitting now in the 14th spot, maybe 13th or so for this restart, but you were in the top 10 there for a little bit, playing the track position game. Is this the Sam Dyer strategy? What's going on? Oh, he's muted. I just noticed that. Robert, if you can unmute.
Hey, yep, I'm muted now. My bad. Yeah, real quick. Yeah, I was going to Sam Dyer, but now it's all go time.
How far up there do you think you can get? I mean, you just took 4 tires, it looks like.
I plan on trying to get the lead.
Sounds good. Hey, best of luck. It's been a lot of fun watching that Christmas number 16 work towards the front.
Amen. Thank you, brother.
Robert Moyer Jr. trying to get forward here. Started at the back end of the field. He's trying to move forward on this restart. 14th coming into this next one. Going to be a lot of fun to watch that bright red and green Toyota Camry work forward. Here we go. Restart zone. Johnny Wood Jr., Robert Moyer at 14th, but Richard Wolfsford on his outside. There we go, as we've got 36 to go here in Nashville. Henderson, Anderson, side by side, back straightaway, turn 3 coming up. Anderson down low in the 4 for Whiplash Racing. Henderson up top in the 88 for Spirit Racing. Third place on the line with Brendan Maddox right behind.
Coming into turn 1, it's all darkness on most of the track except for exit of 2 and the backstretch itself. These guys are going to have no grip out here, and all the grip coming into 3 and 4. Finally finishing it solo. Maddox going out for spot number 4 on Henderson. Still inside of him. They're giving each other room, which is what you like to see right now.
Can Magnus Anderson run these leaders down? It has been 6-5 Motorsports at the front of the field the last, 50 laps? Johnny Wood Jr., Richard Walsifer have led the way much of the back end of today. It was a lot of Maverick out front earlier between, well, I guess really just Maddox, considering Stallings had the rough day. We also saw Accelerate with Caden Perkins out front. Boy, what could be among so many drivers that are up front all of a sudden?
This could be the strategy pull of the year so far, with Johnny Wood Jr. and Wolsifer out here leading with their 2 teammates. Complete flip of what we saw to start this race, but nonetheless entertaining for these guys leading this race. Still got Henderson, Anderson. They're still trying to figure out where they're going to fit in and slot in. Maddox is back in the top 5 after another spin. You got White up here in 6.
Look at Waylon Nelson. Can you believe it? He's had a rough go of things today. He is up in the top 10. He is 7th right now. Making 8th as Borbell works on his inside.
So many feel-good stories coming up here despite all the cars that we've seen. Still battling side by side down the backstretch. These 2 Fords making way for each other, giving each other plenty of room, diving down there in the turn 3, trying to get as much grip as they can to fire off out of exit of 4. Doesn't quite pull it off, and they're still side by side on the front.
It's that time, though. We're down to about 30 to go. Oh, contact there between Nelson and Borbell. We'll keep watching this as we nominate the first couple of drivers here for Driver of the Day. I'm going to give you the floor here, Devin. I know it's been a while for you, but let's get your first nomination out of the way here. Who you got for Driver of the Day? We've got positions gained on the ticker there, the scoring tower. You can see Wolfsford up 17, Anderson up 14, 23 for Henderson since the start of the race, 15 for Nelson, 13 for Teseo, just to name a few.
I got to give my first nomination to Wolsifer. Even though his teammate Johnny Wood Jr. has been the one making the huge strategy calls, Wolsifer's quietly been taking off position after position and is right here for the pickings to make sure that either he or his teammate get this win here tonight.
I gotta say, I'm gonna pull up another tab here. Johnny Wood Jr., 65 laps led. I can't look past him. We thought he was out of it at one point by strategy. If the race kept going green, then it was like he was back in. Now he's been controlling the field. 65, now 66 laps led here at Nashville. I'll turn it back over to you.
My second nomination is going to be Brendan Maddox. This is the definition of perseverance, not letting anything that's gone wrong in your day take you down and make you just give up. He's been back and forth the entire night. He's back up to 5th. He's making his time, making his moves, trying to pick off Henderson here next few laps. It's going to be a wonderful day to see how he finishes off.
I want to give it to Magnus Anderson. I'm going to stop myself just because of positions gained and because Henderson got turned around as Anderson goes for second here on Richard Walsa for a big move out of the 4-car. I don't know. Maybe this is worthy of it for Anderson. Well, here comes Henderson. I'll give it to Henderson. I'll give Tim Henderson the nod. He's been a lot of fun to watch. I want to go with my boy Magnus, but Tim Henderson's going to get a nod here for Driver of the Day. The vote is going live over in the YouTube chat. You can make your vote known. Get voting. Driver of the day, brought to you by the North American Racing League, is live. Anderson down to the inside. Big move to the inside of Richard Walsifer.
Let's just be honest. Everybody in this top 5, top 6 right now deserves to be driver of the day at some point in their own races. They've all earned the right to be here this afternoon. And they're diving it in. They're racing clean right now. They're making attempts at passes for these spots late in the race. Because you never know when the next caution is going to fall. You got to get your track position now. And if you have the fuel to make it, this might be it for you, you know? So make the move while you can and hope it sticks.
Bottom right of your screen, we're going through the names. You saw Johnny Wood Jr., there's Richard Walsifer. How about Tim Henderson in the 88? How about Brendan Maddox in that 23? Those are your 4 options. There's other great options. It's just hard to nominate, only 4. Really hard to narrow it down. 25 to go, this time by Magnus Anderson to the inside again here on Richard Walsifer. This battle not over yet. That Ford Mustang hunting the front. There goes Anderson through to second. Walsifer got to settle for third.
Johnny Wood Jr. is probably looking in his mirror right now, seeing his teammate missing, and Anderson's hunting him down. He's made quick work of Walsifer, and the lead's next. I don't know when he last took tires, but now they're finally back onto these green flag runs. We're gonna start seeing where this strategy or the latency of not taking tires is gonna start to actually affect these leaders here.
Inside of 25 to go, Magnus Anderson. He's got the same tires as Wood ahead and Walsifer behind. I don't know where this speed has suddenly come from. Remember, go back to qualifying. He started 17th. He qualified 17th. This has just played into his favor. We've got to watch this guy the rest of the season. Magnus Anderson. Wow. Hey, Tim Henderson, both. Anderson, there we go. Racing for the lead.
The stars come out at night, and you get stars all over the back of Anderson's car. He's trying to make a name for himself in this race right here. Now that we're back racing, this dude's coming for the lead. And I don't think we even saw him coming initially until just recently. He snuck up on us, and he's here knocking on the door. He's holding a much easier line on the bottom. He's been smooth. He's running down Johnny Wood Jr., and he might very well make a pass on the next few laps here and might complete it and hold the lead.
I mean, look at how close Walsifer is. This whole top 5, top 6. Throw in Jordan White. Look at how close they are. Even Borbell and Clark are starting to reel these guys in. Everybody nose to tail. So little room for error right now. Johnny Wood gets away a little bit. Magnus, I think, got tied up in some dirty air. Here comes Maddox to the inside of Henderson. This is for 4th. Maddox to the inside of Walsifer, nearly some contact. Here comes White.
All the way back to White. It's almost like these guys are drafting. That's how close these guys are to each other in time, in spacing, in just attempts to pass each other. Every single pass leads to another person's opportunity. As you see, this whole racing for second and first, stacked all these cards up. Now we're racing here in the back for 5th between White and Henderson.
Whoa. Slide there out of Jordan White. Here's Stephen Warbell on the 83 car. White's going to have to give that spot up to the 2 and the 54. He slid his tires. Warbell goes on by for 6th. Henderson 5th. He's checking up out of turn 4. Warbell's got to run. It's now a top 4 battle as they're fighting here for 5th place. Warbell down to the inside. We talked to Steven at the top end of the day. This is a home race for him. Usually Bristol is a little more in his wheelhouse. It's a little more, home to him. But this is the closest we have this season with no Bristol race for the first time in several seasons. Battle, by the way, for 2nd. Walsifer back to the inside of Anderson. This is not done.
These guys still going for it. Cuts him off. Oh, makes the save, though. Good racing there. Matt's going to make the move for 3rd place.
Caution!
Sorry. The top.
It's Anderson's teammate, Evan Patinko.
Patinko's also had another one of those up and down days. This is really unfortunate for him.
What was a positive run for a while there for Evan Patinko, a new hire over at Whiplash Racing, has turned into a rather sour one. Let's see what happened. He was racing back here with Waylon Nelson. Nelson dives down to the inside and just
it doesn't stay.
Yeah, just clean them out. This caution gonna change things up for fuel. Who's got enough? Who has to pit? These guys, by the way, they have gone 52 laps now on this fuel out front. The 75, the 4, the 56. 52 laps.
They can't go much longer. If you have to pit, this has to be like a 4-tire call here, and just hoping you can get back through traffic in time.
I agree. Question is, if you're a Maddox, might be good on fuel. You know those guys are going to take tires. You just ran that longer run. You've got 28 laps since your last stop. Do you want to come in and get 2? We saw Johnny Wood do that earlier. Take 2 tires, and it worked decently. So, yeah, we're going to see pit stops here. The leaders have got to come in. 15 to go. Pit stops here on a late caution. You see Maddox has stayed out. That is big. Johnny Wood, Magnus Anderson, Richard Wolfsford, Tim Henderson, Coulter Clark, Braxton Skinner, Cody Dorsey, Waylon Nelson, Dakota Bly, all come in.
This right here is either the move of the night or the loss of the night. One of these strategy calls is going to be the winner right here.
Johnny Wood can come out 9th here. I think he can definitely race through 8 cars in about 13 laps on brand new tires. I think that's definitely possible.
Saw 2 right sides there if I was correct.
I believe so. Let's go back. I wasn't paying the closest attention. I was looking at timing and scoring, trying to figure out where he was going to line up. But into the box, right side's up, and I believe straight back down and away, and I think that's going to be a theme. Wolfsford does the same, Clark does the same, Skinner does the same, yeah. 2 tires back out and away, that comes out to about 8 seconds and change. Brendan Maddox now the race leader, Stephen Borbell, Jordan White your top 3, Kyle Klink, Anthony Tessay your top 5, then Robert Moyer. Remember, we talked to him after he pitted out of that last caution. You know, can he get up to the lead maybe? Can he win this thing? At the time, it felt like more of a long shot. Now, I don't think it's that far out of the realm of possibility at this point, the way we've seen this race go.
The best time to pass cars is when they're stacked up on a restart.
That's right. I want to give a big thank you to those who help us out with this series. Of course, Sundance Pizza has been such a prominent part of the BRB Racing League for literal years now. The Gavin Rogers fan base, of course, comes out and cheers him on when he races. So Sundance Pizza and everybody over there, I believe the Rogers family, they are fantastic human beings and help support this league in every way possible. Sundance Trucks, ideally. So all these partners doing the same. KC Athletics, RevSimShop.com, Performance Food Group, Whiplash SimCam, CC's Business, and MXWraps.com. By the way, it's MX-Wraps. I know, right? I gotta get to, I believe it's Wickenburg, Arizona. I gotta get out there at some point. I mean, that's my home country. I know it's a state. Trust me, I know. But that is like where I'm from, is that area of California, or Arizona. I claim both. Regardless, we're coming to a restart. I gotta get out there. That's where I'm from. I gotta get some of that Sundance Pizza at some point. But here we go. Restart zone on the way, inside of 15 to go. It's been a long day of broadcasting. Who knows how this is about to end? Big crash. They're wiping out. It's Wolsifer and so many more that just pitted and took tires. Everything we thought we knew, throw it out the window. What happens here?
This has to be what you want to see if you're Maddox.
Yeah.
It was Johnny Wood Jr. He spun the tires, got loose, and went back up the track.
Let's see, Johnny Wood Jr. The 75 car, blue numbers in the door behind the red 17 of Jason Bottoms. They stacked up top. Coulter Clark dives down to the inside. Johnny threw a block. Oh my goodness.
I want to give him some benefit because it did look like it was like a shift miss, like he shifted and it spun tires. But I've not driven this version of the ARCA car yet, so I can't say for sure.
Just a late move out of the 75. I hate to put that on Johnny, but frankly, that's the way I see that. I mean, he got on the restart. You know, Clark got down to his inside, and at 15 to go, you have to expect anything. He got. He moved down. Wow.
Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I'm deferring to your judgment there. I think that's really what happened there. He made a slightly late move, contact, and spun himself out. Took out his teammate in the process, also, unfortunately.
Donna Lee in the YouTube chat. That's the family over at Sundance Pizza checking in. And yes, I was right. It's Wickenburg, Arizona. By the way, look at that miss from Magnus Anderson. I'm going to put that up. Let's give it some nomination from the driver's IPOV here for Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day. This is big. Of course, we saw him have race-winning speed a little bit ago. He easily could have got the lead away from Johnny Wood. If he can get back through with some fresh tires, who knows what could happen for the 4-car. Problem is, there's a lot less time to do it now. As we double back up, we'll have 10 to go at the drop of this new green flag. But yes, Donna Lee checking in from the Sundance fam. I gotta say,
I feel like that green flag run helped cut some of that time off, though we're still kind of close on it.
Yes. I gotta say, pizza is a passion of mine. I'd like to think it's because I'm Italian. I think realistically it's because I just like pizza. I just like round things with sauce and pepperoni and cheese. I personally like black olives on my pie. That's just me. Sausage, bacon, I mean, good stuff there. We are coming up on the time limit. Now, you might be confused because the race start is advertised as 9 o'clock, and we have gone past 11 o'clock. However, the race doesn't technically go green. Qualifying starts at 9. The race starts about 9:08, 9:09, depending on pace lap, sometimes 9:10. So we have a few more minutes to go. It's going to be close. Restart zone coming up. Brendan Maddox, Stephen Borbell, Jordan White, Kyle Klenker, top 4. Green flag, 10 laps to go. What's going to happen in Nashville? Spinning again. If this is a caution, we will hit the time limit. That's going to be a wreck. That's going to be a caution. Brendan Maddox, I believe, has just won this race. Unless they could hurry up a restart last second, I think that's that.
That's an unfortunate way to end this race. I do hope we get one more shot at it. Kind of like a quasi green-white checkered, but I'm not sure we got that kind of time left. But it is still a storyline for Maddox, how far he's gone up and down like a yo-yo all night to get back to the front to even have this chance at winning.
I think that's going to be it. Coulter Clark tried to make a hole where there wasn't one, 3 wide, gets into Evan Patinko, sends him sliding. Dakota Bly gets caught up in it. Oh boy. We're talking about pizza, thinking we can still race all the laps out. At least I'm talking about pizza. You weren't. I'm talking about pizza. I'm hungry. But this is... Wow. Dorsey, Bly, Patinko's teammates, former teammates get involved in this. Patinko goes around, and I don't think we're going back green. We were told coming to that restart we had 4 minutes. That was 2 minutes ago. I don't think we're going back green, ladies and gentlemen. If so, it's going to be for a couple of laps and that's it. 29-second lap times. Call it 30 seconds. I don't think we're going back green. I don't know officially. I will say, one thing we need to do after this week is implement a session timer. For this exact situation, Devin. That would be huge. But we are right on it.
I would say that, Max here is hoping, rain starts falling, like he's making his timer rain dance, That's what we should call the timer at this point. It's the timer to the rain, and the rain is here.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like we were saying earlier, it's kind of like racing to a rain cell moving in. You know exactly when it's going to hit. Brendan Maddox is out front. Will they try to line up, or will the sim cut this off? Here we go. They're going to line up like they're going for a restart. It might give us a green-white checkered. See, when this rule was made for the 2-hour time limit, I wasn't sure we were actually going to hit it. I think after tonight, we've seen it's a very real possibility. And yeah, after tonight, that session timer is going to be implemented for sure.
I was hoping it'd be more for like a plate race thing, how those can drag on sometimes with, the big ones and everybody fighting side by side so tight and packed together, but this may be a thing that we might just very well need for some of these. Yep, there it goes. Final lap.
Final lap. This is it. It tried to go back green. The timer ran out. We were a half a lap away, a half of a caution lap away. Brendan Maddox is going to be the race winner here at Nashville. All they've got to do is get back to the line. The pace car, what's it going to do? It's going to dip in. What's happening?
It might be a white checkered. It could be a white flag checkered.
It's giving us a green. I think it's a just white straight to the line. I think it's just restart zone. I think that's checkers. I don't know. Jason Bottoms blocking the 56 down to the inside, I believe. I think it's giving them one lap. You see the white flag brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. I think it's giving them one lap. I don't know what's happening. This is unmarked territory for us, but now we can say for sure Brendan Maddox is going to win the Scooty Loo 175. What happens behind, I don't know. Race is over.
Joshua Parent back up to 7. What a comeback by him.
Robert Moyer Jr. top 5 here at Nashville. Jourdain White, second consecutive podium finish. I said it earlier, with his second place at Daytona, if he can finish top half of the field, it'll be a good start to his BRB campaign. He goes third. Brendan Maddox going to burn it down here at Nashville Super Speedway. We'll get a replay as to what just happened in that unprecedented final lap of racing. He was winless all of season number 4. His last win, Rockingham season 3. Brendan Maddox goes back to victory lane, and oh, how sweet this must taste.
This is like the perfect comeback story here, because he and his brother have been through it all day, going back and forth from front to back, and I don't think there's a better way for them to kind of clutch in and finish this one out. This is perfect for these guys.
What a day. What a day. Unprecedented. is my best way to wrap this one up. That's the only way I feel like I can wrap this one up. I don't know what else to say. Unprecedented. Let's go back to that restart. Bear with me a moment. I gotta queue up this replay. It's gonna take a moment. Here we go. This is during that pace lap. Coming to the green. This is about where we got the final lap notification. And of course, the sim is displaying final lap, even though it's really... Now we know it's going to give us one lap to race it out. That's good to know for the future. This is... Again, this was unprecedented territory. We didn't know what was going to happen. But let's see what happened here on this restart. Jason Bottoms is the car we want to focus on. That's the 17. He's fourth in line down low. Wolfsburg got to his inside and made more and more contact with him. And they go up the racetrack, Bottoms in the wall hard. I mean, it could have been another top 10 finish for Jason. Instead, it's going to be 17th. What we're hearing is he is unhappy. That, I think, was the big drama on this one lap run to the end.
I'm not sure if he's saying that he went too soon or if it was potentially netcode, because this is, everybody has different views of the race here. This is an online sim, but it did seem like he cut down maybe a smidge soon. Yes, he's already cutting down there, so it's like there's no way to protect that. And then he's dooring him, and now they're stuck. They're just netcoded together, and from there you're screwed. You're in the wall. It's over for you. And I would be a little upset too. I can see where he's coming from.
Let's see this here. When does Wolfsburg get to the inside? Because that might come up in the ruling. He makes the move before the line, but that doesn't show if there was overlap before the line. Well, we will focus up on post-race festivities and let the admins do what they have to do with everything that's just happened. This has been an unprecedented night of racing here. Actually, I noticed something else just now. Hang on. Let's get one more replay. Maybe two. Something else happened on the back straightaway. I can't tell who it was with. Was it the 4, perhaps? No, that's the 88, maybe. Yes. Henderson blocked Lewis on the racetrack. That's okay. They figured it out and raced back to the stripe. So I think that's about it for that final lap of racing. We can go into post-race properly now. And all just take a breath.
Breathe.
Yes, all just take a breath. Let's go ahead and take a look at unofficial, and keep in mind just how unofficial this is, but very unofficial race results here from Nashville. Brendan Maddox does come home the race winner. I don't think that's going to change, but hey, you never know. Stephen Borbell, second place in car number 2. Another big start to the season for him. Jordan White as well. Third place. Kyle Klink in the top 5. Robert Moyer in the top 5. Anthony DeSeo comes back to 6th. Josh Parent, I don't know how he's stuck in it. He's 7th. Whiplash Racing teammates 7th and 8th, with Magnus Anderson in 8th. Braxton Skinner 9th, and Waylon Nelson your top 10.
Richard Wolfsburg comes in at 11th. Coulter Clark makes his finish at 12th. Johnny Wood Jr. comes back 13th, unfortunately. Cole Lewis finishing 14th. Tim Anderson 15th. Evan Patenko 16th. Jason Bottom 17th. Dakota Bly 18th. Cody Dorsey 19th. And Zachary Maddox finishing 20th, 33 laps down.
Finishing 21st, you'll find Cameron Carden. Unfortunately, 41 laps down there with Caden Perkins. We saw their incident on the front straightaway after contact with Braxton Skinner. Matthew Selby, after contact with Brendan Maddox, ends up 23rd. Ray Walker, 24th, after he got collected in the incident with Zachary Maddox and with Anthony DeSeo. Dustin Stallings, of course, after the qualifying mishap and the incidents that he went through, ends up 25th. Cameron Gilmore out early, 26th. Christian Barnes out early in 27th. Dan Stoccaro, Jeffrey/Ethan Johnson, and Adam Buzzio, the remainder of the top 30. The back end of the field, Carl Pooler, Jamie Plord, Scott Fritz, Tyler Bentley, and Zach Branvold. Unfortunately, he might be dropping off that power rankings listing. Remember, let's look into that real quick. these are the power rankings coming into tonight. Stallings is going to take a big hit. Maddox might be leading this thing afterwards. Pooler is going to take a big hit. Walker is going to take a big hit. Clark at least came close to a top 10. Skinner got a top 10. Barnes was out early. Brandhold out early. Borbell finished second, and Johnny couldn't come back to the top 10 quite. So again, like we said at the top of the show, Devin, this graphic is going to change drastically. That said, we do have a race winner when it's all said and done, and it is driver 23, Brendan Maddox. He got the stage win earlier tonight. At that point in time, though, Brendan, we had no clue what we were in store for. Can you believe now, after soldiering through those 121 laps after that stage, that you are the race winner tonight here at Nashville?
I'm having some internet issues. Evidently, it took me 15 seconds to connect. So all I heard was, you are the race winner at Nashville. So if you want to repeat your question, go right ahead. I'm sorry.
To shorten it up, can you believe it?
No, not at all. No. There's no. I didn't think. So first of all, I didn't think I was going to be able to come back from some of the incidents that I had. And then I had the broadcast pulled up. I pooed my pants whenever those two cars wrecked in front of me off of turn 4. And I thought I was done for. Like, I legitimately thought, there's no way out of this. I'm done. And I just came down. I forget what lap it was. It must have been like 130. 1 or 2, we had a caution, and I came down because I knew we could do about 42, 43 laps on fuel. I wasn't counting on the race getting cut short then because we still had enough time. But it was a gamble then. I would have been, when I came out of pits, I was 2 laps short, so I had to spend the first, obviously on a pacing, saving, and then I had to do the first, 10 or 15 laps of that run when I was behind Johnny, Richard, Tim, and Magnus, I believe, was up there as well. I was just saving behind them, trying to bide my time, get the fuel saved. I knew that that's what I needed to do. And then another caution came out. Steven, the other guys behind me, pit, and I nearly pit there. I nearly did. But I just, Dustin and Zach kept telling me, hey, you got to stay out. You got to stay out. You got to stay out. And I didn't believe them. So credit to them for convincing me of that strategy. I didn't think I was going to be able to get it just by staying out. And then cautions kept coming, and we started asking, what's the time frame look like on this? And we figured out it's going to run short. So, I'll be good on fuel. And it's just, at that point, it's nailing the restarts. And I got to say, I said last week I had a new rig. The new rig came in on Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. And I spent all last week putting it together. Spent some time over the weekend trying to get used to the shifter and practiced several times. I money shifted from second into first instead of second into third. And so I just kept telling myself, whenever you go up, go a little bit to the right so you don't money shift and screw yourself up. And thankfully, the whole race, I was able to avoid money shifting. And in the last 3 starts when it counted, I got freaking phenomenal jumps.
And
no,
this
did not think it was possible.
This definitely, I think, is a matter of circumstance at the end, because you had race-winning speed, but a lot went wrong at different times. How do you even begin to move on from this kind of race and start to get ready for Richmond?
You just jump into sessions and practice. That's all you can do. I think today's a clear message that, some of these races, if we keep the driving standards up that are going on, we're not going to be able to finish them. This is the first example of that. We kept asking ourselves as a league, hey, what's the first time this is going to happen? And it's the second race in. So I think, to me, it's a clear sign that, hey, maybe we need to give more than we take. And I say that a lot. In the Discord, I'm blue in the face until I say that. Some people listen, some people don't. But we need to give more than we take, and we take care of each other. And we will finish these races. That's the bottom line. And that's why admins put this time limit in, is because, something needs to change. That's the matter of it. Something needs to change in some of these driving standards. And until, those people see that, then, maybe we spend the next 8 weeks running, shortened races because of it. No one wants that, but do we not want enough to make change? That's the question I have.
Definitely a lot to think about moving into Richmond next week. Best of luck, Brennan. I know there's going to be a big week ahead for everybody to get ready for that kind of short track. So best of luck to you and your whole team. We'll see you in Virginia.
Thank you, guys. See you there.
Brendan Maddox with the race win here, first of the season, first since season 3. Let's move on down. We'll bomb through these. Let's grab Stephen Borbell. We talked to him earlier today. Driver number 2, position number 2. Stephen, it was a long day at the office. How do you feel?
I'm gonna be honest, Andrew. I'm really disappointed, not even just with the finish of everything, of just league as a whole. I really didn't want to be able to reach a time limit race, especially the second race of the year. I think last week set some unrealistic expectations, or maybe just confused me of what was to be. But tonight's race as a whole, as a league, we should all be very disappointed and upset how it went.
I definitely think there's a lot to be happy with still, though, because I think Devin said it really well. It was a tale of two halves. Really good start to the race, and then I think when people started to realize, hey, I want to move forward, things changed. So from an admin perspective, put the driver hat away for a second. From an admin perspective, what do you preach to these guys to change that?
I mean, it's preaching the same things every week, and obviously it doesn't stick with some. We've come to see that it's not a car problem. We didn't necessarily think it was a car problem with the next gen. It's mentality issues. And tonight was the real first test of the new penalty structure that we have in place, where drivers call out their own cautions or at faults, essentially. And that's going to be really interesting to review afterwards, because there were plenty of incidents without people calling fault. So for that, if they're deemed at fault for next week, it's a tier higher penalty. So some might start with a drive-through through pit road, or some might even be parked next week. It's going to be interesting to unfold that all and take a look at that.
Definitely a lot on everybody's minds going into Richmond. Stephen, we'll let you get off to bed. I know it's a late night for everybody. Best of luck in Virginia next week.
I appreciate it, Andrew. Thank you guys for all your work. Thank you to all the admins, and thank you to all the drivers that are still here. I just hope we can put on a better show going forward, but thank you guys.
Stephen Borbell with some strong words here after Nashville. We'll move on down the line and grab Jourdain White. One of the biggest sensations is the Jamaican sensation here. The Jourdain train all the way to third place. Jourdain, 15 laps late even. How do you sum this kind of night up for you to build on what we saw at Daytona a week ago? It's not a fluke. You can do it on one of these regular racetracks. How do you sum it all up?
I mean, coming into the season, a lot of people kind of counted me out, and I don't want to sound like I have a huge ego, but I feel like I could have had a good race. I was very confident coming into Nashville, and I thank all the sponsors for leading me to be here. Thank you to Zachary King. Thank you to Oceanside Welding and Fabrication, Jen Blossom Designs, Advanced Work Vans, Gilbert, Sundance Pizza for putting on the BRB show itself, Pit Stop TV for giving us the amazing streams and visuals, and thank you to all my competitors that helped put on a good race. I didn't make the most friends at some points, but at the end, I was giving, not taking, and that helped me finish P3.
And there's a lot of fans out there in the YouTube chat for you now, both weeks here to get the season started. For all of them, what's the outlook like now going into more of these regular racetracks? The tracks that aren't Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta. We have Richmond next week, going to be a big challenge for everybody. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I'm a little bit scared about Richmond. I'm not the greatest at the short tracks in the ARCA car, but I'm really good at short tracks in general. But the one I'm worrying about is the one after that, Long Beach. Oh my goodness. I don't think it will end well unless I get a good amount of practice. But yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the season.
There you go, Jourdain White. The Jourdain train keeps chugging along. Jourdain, good to talk to you. Congratulations on another top 3. Hopefully we're talking to you in Richmond.
Yeah, later. Hope I see you as well.
Jourdain White with a big day here at Nashville Super Speedway. Let's take a second. Let's reflect here. How do we sum this up, Devin? I know we had such positive feelings in the opening portion of this race. Things changed. I think it's just a matter of cutting guys' brakes. That's all that comes down to. I think these guys, they have the right pieces. They haven't found the right order yet.
I think they did a decent job in that first half. I think what probably made it worked was that first stage. That first stage was really well driven by everybody involved. They cut each other a lot of breaks. They were filling the car out, filling the tracks out, filling the competitors out. And that really gave it like that really nice edge. Everybody was learning. It was good strategy, trying out new things. And like we said earlier, Tail of Two Halves, once that stage was complete and they got past that first initial run to past 70, it seemed to just all fall apart. People weren't giving breaks anymore. People weren't, thinking big picture. And I think once we get, past Richmond and past Long Beach and back to another oval, we'll probably get a better balance for what things should be for this league and this car. And hopefully we'll be better at it.
Let's cap things off this evening. There you see the schedule for this season. Richmond next, then Long Beach, the road course on November 4th, Charlotte, Wilkesboro, Chicagoland, Pocono, and California. The remaining races in the calendar year of 2025. Then the second half takes us into 2026. Richmond coming into focus, though, for this series. This is a look at what's upcoming for us across the board here at Pit Stop TV. Next up, we head out. Well, we stay actually in Tennessee, and we stay in the Nashville area. We go from Nashville Super Speedway to the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for the All-American 300 for the Impel Motorsports National Tour in the Sim Auto Racing Association. That's super late models on a short track in Nashville. Going to be a lot of fun. I have a love-hate history with that racetrack because of my camera being stolen there in real life. But that's a great racetrack. It is a fantastic place to go race. So take my personal feelings away from being there in real life, and it's going to be a really cool place to see a race out on Thursday. Then Sunday we head out to Bathurst for the Bathurst 500 in the Major Series, and next week we go short track racing here with the BRB Sundance Pro Series on October the 28th at Richmond. Boy, a lot of places to follow along on Pit Stop TV. Everything going on all the links down below. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and X. We're on all of them. Make sure to follow along and be a part of the party moving forward. A big thank you to all the partners with the series: Sundance Pizza, Ascendance Trucks, Idealease, KC Athletics, RevSimShop.com, Performance Food Group, Whiplash SimCam, CC's Business, and MXWraps.com. That's MX-Wraps.com. And a big thank you to tonight's presenting partner, Scooty Lou. Also, big thank you to our partners here at the channel: Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, Cody Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League. No, I have not forgotten. Guess who? It's going to be Brendan Maddox, today's NARL Driver of the Day. So congratulations to Brendan, not just winning tonight here at Nashville, but being today's Driver of the Day. We'll see you all next time, hopefully this Thursday, for the All-American 300 and the Sim Auto Racing Association Impel National Tour. Otherwise, we'll see you all next week for the next edition of the BRB Sundance Pro Series as we go to Richmond. We'll see you there.